There it is. Nice. Hello, everybody. I guess I'm on. Wow. Thanks for tuning in to another This Week in Startups. This is episode number, Tyler? 20. And we're jumping the gun here. We're going to go to a caller. I can hear the phone ringing right now. Wow. We've got a lot going on today. Guys, as you can see, Alex Miller, who is the producer of the show, I guess he's a producer, he is out today. So we have J-Mac and Crute manning the TriCaster. Which basically means they're going to play every possible video clip while I'm speaking. No big deal. Don't worry, guys. It's the internet. Nobody's watching, except for the 255 people in the chat room currently live. But thanks for tuning in today. You guys know what the show is about. It's called This Week in Startups. We're going to talk about startups. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship. I'm really excited about our guest today. Joe Essenfeld is a guy I met at a conference. I was at a conference, and he introduced himself. And I always do the same thing when I'm at a conference. Say, hey, what do you do? Right? There's a book about that where you ask other people what they're doing. Mm-hmm. What's that? How to influence people, how to make friends and influence people.
Right.
Carnegie. No, who is it? Anyway, there's a famous book, and in the book,
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie, and he says, "Listen, show interest in other people." So, being the megalomaniac I am, like any good startup entrepreneur, I always am in the habit of when I meet somebody at a conference, and this is like one of the things you can do, is say, "Hey, what are you working on?" If you are the most awkward person at a conference. Tyler's not awkward. Tyler's deft. But this is a very easy way to get something going. You say, hey, what are you working on? It's very open-ended. They can take it wherever they want. It's not like saying, what do you do? Where do you work? Those are like bad ways to say, but just what are you working on? And so I asked this kid, Joe, what are you working on? And he gives me this idea. It's brilliant. And I just immediately said, that's brilliant. It's one of those ideas, Tyler, that you just say, it's brilliant. Yep. We're going to get into that story, but just a couple of months after I met him, he is on stage at TechCrunch 50. And as Gary Vaynerchuk would say, crushing it. I mean, literally crushed it.
He crushed it in the rehearsal.
Crushed it in the rehearsal, crushed it on stage, and he's crushing it post-TC50. So I'm very excited to have him here. And we really like the young entrepreneurs, the new guys or new gals who are coming. Have we had a woman guest on yet? We haven't had a female yet. Guys, can you guys send some female CEOs my way? Female startup founders? Contact at This Week in Startups. Let's get the ladies on the program. Let's thank the sponsors, right? Hey, right at the top of the show, this show is very well produced most weeks, and no offense, guys, and just kidding. It's the internet. Nobody cares. That's the great part about it. If this is CNBC, somebody would be fired. If it's the internet, everybody thinks it's charming and authentic. But the sponsors really make this happen, and the sponsors have been great to the show. We started the show on a flyer, and all of a sudden 4 sponsors show up. They buy out the entire inventory, and they just give this incredible long runway to the show to try to figure out what it exactly is we're doing. And this is very important for startup companies. You have to love your benefactors, your sponsors, your investors, your employees, your board members, your customers. You have to love them. And I love these 4 guys, actually. Ustream, everybody knows. You're watching it right now. 257 people viewing live on Ustream. Great streaming services. And we had the Ustream guys on. You can go look at that. They're really smart guys. Great startup company, and they're crushing it as well. And they provide the streaming technology. DNA Mail. Everybody loves DNA Mail. DNA Mail provides hosted email instead of having your own Exchange server. You have your own Exchange server. You have an IT department at LocalBacon?
No.
How many people on the IT staff?
0.
Exactly, and that's what you should do. And you should use your servers like DNA Mail to host your stuff, whether you want Exchange or you want Google Apps. Just outsource your IT, and people have to make a phone call and they need to talk to somebody. That's how you do it. WebSpy is a great company. They're going to have the CEO is going to come on, and this is a pretty big company. They're like beyond the startup phase, even though they still have a startup culture. And they do monitoring of your network and all this kind of important analytics software, so you know what the heck's going on your network. Very important. Go check it out. Have your IT guys. If you have IT guys, have your tech guys. If you're doing web development, just go to webspy.com/twist and check out their offering. And our final sponsor is Audible. Everybody knows I love Audible. Tyler loves Audible. And we're going to talk about them in the homework section. And just a great service.
Lazy man's dream, that thing.
That is a lazy man's dream. I'm sure the sponsor loves to hear that. No, it is. I at the poker table for too long. I played last night till 4 in the morning.
Or an overextended man's dream. A very busy guy's dream.
I can be honest about it.
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah. I'm a busy guy. My wife is pregnant. She's asleep. I got a lot on my mind. There's a lot going on, Tyler. Tyler's my shadow. We go everywhere together. And I got a lot on my mind. You have a lot on your mind, Joe, I take it?
Absolutely.
And so what I do is I'm at the poker table. I'm listening to Accidental Billionaire. I went up $2,200 at the big game, just taking money left and right, crushing people.
Yeah.
I look down. It's 4 a.m., but I've got my poker in. I've got my Audible in. I get home. I take 4 or 5 hour nap. Boom. I'm ready. I start working again. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm in the car, listen to Audible. I'm on a plane, I'm listening to Audible. It's just awesome. So, Joe, you've seen the program before?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And you know the sponsors.
DNA Mail, DNA Mail, DNA Mail.
Everybody loves DNA Mail.
Absolutely.
Exactly. People walk up to me in conferences and say that now. I got a future in tagline writing.
There's actually a little game going on amongst the viewers where they take a shot every time you say DNA Mail 3 times.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Because if I say DNA Mail, DNA Mail, DNA Mail, they'd have to take a shot. It's that part of the drinking game.
Yeah.
So this is a message to a super fan. I would like to have This Week in Startups drinkinggame.com set up before the end of the program. And set it up as what should they set it up as a Tumblr blog or a Posterous blog? Anyway, you set Posterous. Set it up Posterous. We like Gary. So one of the super fans, This Week in Startups drinkinggame.com. And let's have some fun with it. Somebody do that. The fans on the show are ridiculous. So everybody knows, thank the sponsors on Twitter. Did you see Read White Web? Read White Web?
Say that 5 times.
White Web.
Yeah, easy
Read
to say.
Write Web. Read White Web. Read Write Web, which is a pretty good blog.
Yeah.
No, it's good TechCrunch, but it's 60, what do you say, 70% of TechCrunch? Good.
Different perspective.
I don't have
A little different.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I have to back my boy Mike. Anyway, Read Write Web is a terrible name because you can't pronounce it, but it's a great blog. They now, every week, ask their people to tweet the sponsors.
Nice.
Pretty flattering that they took the entire concept from here. You should go do that right now. Just tweet. It costs you nothing to do this. You don't have to pay for the show. We're not charging you. You get all this great content for free. You get to hear from all these great sponsors. You get Tyler's Insights, which is a bonus. All that for free because of the sponsors. So just thank DNA at DNA Mail, at WebSpy, at Ustream, and at Audible_COM. And can the person with at Audible just give it to them? Please, can we work that out?
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. I have to say _COM just for my sake. Give them their Twitter account back. You know that at the beginning of the show we have Ask Jason.
Absolutely.
It's everybody's favorite part of the show. Let's take a call. Let's
Sure.
see what somebody needs help.
I agree.
Let's take a call, and we play the graphic. There it goes. There's the phone going on the graphic. Beautiful. It's a professionally produced show. All right, and so there's the phone ringing, actually, and I hit the speaker phone. Okay, hello, Billy. Billy from the 209. Where are you calling from, Billy?
I'm calling from Stockton, California.
Stockton, California. Where the heck is that?
That is right below Sacramento.
Sacramento, that's where the governor is.
Yeah.
And so, okay, you're somewhere out in the boondocks, and you have a question for us. How can we help?
Yeah. I opened my own PC repair company.
Yes.
Just one store, yeah.
One store.
And it was with my own money, so there's no debt or anything, but
Right.
I guess it just wasn't enough money because it's been too slow, and it looks like we're going to close. I read one of your articles, what to do if your business is failing, and I was looking for more sage advice from you.
Wow. Can I ask, how did you stumble upon that? Did you just do a Google search for failing business or something? Or did a friend send it to you?
Yeah, one night I was actually just online, and I was thinking to myself, well, maybe I should type this in. Maybe somebody else has had a failing business, and apparently
Holy
you
cow.
have, and you wrote an article, so.
I wonder what we're ranked for failing business. So you're basically saying when you type in failed business, I come up.
Coming up, yeah.
Wow, that is just awesome.
You had an article.
Complete failure, George Bush. Failing business, Jason Calacanis. Fantastic. Okay, so let me just get this straight, because you emailed me. I told you call into the show, because the common precursor to success, as we've said on the show many times, is failure. And as Bob Dylan would say, there is no success like failure. But failure is no success at all. So we got to get you out of this. It's great that you failed because you learned something, but we got to get you to the next phase. So I think if I remember from your email, you dropped 2 high societies on the business.
Yes.
Also known as 20 grand for those of you people who are not degenerate poker players like myself. So you put 20 large into this business, and so it's a franchise type business. Did you have to pay somebody for the name or something?
No, actually, it is just a sole prop.
Okay, so it's your business. You put 20 grand. You have a storefront. Do you have customers?
Yeah, I actually have a small customer base that keeps me at least not completely in debt, but
Right.
you know.
And so the money you invested in the business, I'm taking it. You had to put down $5,000 for the storefront or something like that, and $5,000 to set up the storefront or something like that. You put $10,000 into the physical
Exactly.
plant.
Yeah, I put money into it, and I had money aside for you know, until we got picked up here,
Yeah.
because there's just nothing. There's no PC repair around, so I figured
Right.
you know, my business would be the business, but I guess I didn't put enough into advertising, so nobody
Right.
knows I'm here.
So this is a challenge. So you spent money on real estate and a space. That you didn't get like foot traffic from that. I'm taking it. That wasn't a big draw. So
well, yeah, I got a little bit from that,
Little
but
bit.
not enough. Yeah.
and so you got rent every month, but the rent doesn't help. It seems to me like this business is one of those businesses that you don't even need to have office space for. So you can drop the office space. You have a couple of clients that like you. They pay $50, $75 an hour. What do they pay per hour for this business?
Actually, yeah, it's $50 an hour.
Okay, so $50 an hour, it might be too cheap, and so you might be able to raise your prices. At $50 an hour, people don't complain, right? I mean, that's a bargain, I think.
Yeah, it is actually a bargain. I did that to compete with all the big dogs that they had there. I wanted to steal some of their clients. So.
Right. And now the big dogs, you're talking about Geek Squad or something like that. They charge $75 an hour or
Geek
something.
Squad. Yeah, there are a couple of guys in town who do mainly businesses, and I wanted to do businesses and home and all that.
Yeah.
So I adjusted my prices. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think getting rid of the storefront is essential, and I
Okay.
think you need a marketing plan that spreads virally. The best clients you have, I'm going to guess, your best source of clients are referrals. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the storefront was a bust. Craigslist, you might get some ads. That's not a bad place to look for ads. I'm sure you've gotten people from Craigslist, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. So this is my idea for you. I think that you should start a Twitter account that is Ask Billy.
Okay.
I think you should start a domain name, Ask Billy. Or maybe Ask Billy your last name. Even better.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You got a nice sounding name. And I
Thank you.
think that you should brand yourself as the most helpful person in this area to get a quick answer from. And you should make it very easy for people to refer a friend. So, you get rid of the storefront. And then I want you to print out on your business cards. Business cards are important. Now, a standard business card does nothing, but you need what's called a purple cow. Do you know what a purple cow is?
No, I do not.
Okay. There's a guy, Seth Godin. He's a very bright marketing guy. And a friend of mine, he created Squidoo, which is a terrible spam disaster. But I'll leave that aside for a minute. It's also competitive with Mahalo a little bit, so you can take my comments for what they're worth. Anytime there's a competitor, I got to get the samurai sword out and just... But his concept of a purple cow is something that people will remember. If you see a purple cow, you're going to remember it. So what can people remember about your business card? This is my idea for your business card. You get one of those business cards that looks like those little postcards that you get in the mail, like a postcard size. And you put on it your picture or, your philosophy of helping people. You put, why you live in your town. Just a little bit of color as to who you are as a person, what you like to do, how you got into computers. Just tell your story there, maybe 2 photos of you in your house and your car and for your first computer. Tell your story. People like to hear your story. They can connect with you now because it's Ask Billy Blank. Now, on the back of the card, I want it to say, refer a friend. And it will say, the text will say something to the effect of, I've used Billy's services, and he's done a blank job. Right? Like Mad Libs?
Yeah.
I highly recommend, if you have a problem, giving them a call. And at the bottom, you write their name. And then you give them, you can get these professionally printed, but when you have somebody who's a good client, you say, I really appreciate that you've been such a good client to me. And no pressure, but if you happen to have anybody who has a problem, I like to work with good people, and you're a great person. I'm sure your friends are good, and they may have a need sometime. can I give you 5 of these postcards? If anybody claims them, I'll give you an hour of free tech support. Now your acquisition cost for a new customer is $50. I'm guessing your average customer calls you 4 or 5 times a year, 3 or 4 times a year. What is it?
It's probably actually more about 10 times a year.
Okay, and each time the average billing is $75, $100, what, hour and a half, hour?
Usually about an hour to 2 hours, yeah.
Okay, so let's call it 75. That means you're acquiring a customer for $50 and making $750 from an average customer. Now you have 0 marketing costs. The cost of making these flyers is going to cost what, Tyler?
Nothing.
$100?
Kinko's, yeah.
Kinko's $100.
GotPrint's the cheapest.
GotPrint. So you go to GotPrint, Joe says. You print these things up.
Okay.
These things you got to spend time on. You've got to make it really personal. You need to have great photography on the cover, something memorable. So when the person hands it to the other person, they can talk about it. That's what they call buzz, right? So your business card is buzzy. And your business card is actually a refer a friend card, like the Netflix card. You get Netflix, or have you seen Netflix?
Yeah.
Netflix got so many subscribers, which people said, and this is 10 years ago, but people said about Netflix, this is a great product. I love this. And every time they got their product in the mail, there's a little thing you can rip off and hand to your friend. Brilliant. That's what you need.
Definitely. All right, yeah, that sounds good.
If you do this, I think it's going to work. Joe, you have any advice for him?
I'll do it, yeah.
Well, it's actually interesting. I was in this business for a year, and I did at-home PC repair for people like you. It was mainly executives, and the killer marketing application I did was oversized postcards, and I mailed them to wealthy zip codes. And I did the exact thing you recommended, where I gave my story, where it's like, do you want a geek from Geek Squad coming in, or do you want someone professional who knows about business and computers?
Right.
Great business.
Yeah.
And I did flat pricing, no hourly. So I said, if I'm going to take your spyware off, it's $150, but that's it. You know what you're getting into.
Oh, okay. So that's actually, do you do flat rate pricing for these kind of things that get people scared?
Yeah, for home, yes, I do flat pricing.
Yeah. So I also think that your pricing is a little low, which is good for now. But when you get to the point where you start to be busy and you have, whatever, $2,000 a week in calls or $1,500 a week in calls, whatever it is, then when you get to that point, the pricing goes up to $75. The other people per hour, the other people are grandfathered in at their $50 rate. Any new clients you take are at $75. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So that you can slowly build up. Don't be afraid to raise your rates. And you can even say to the existing people, listen, the rates went up to $75. I'm going to grandfather you in at $60 if that's okay. So it's only $10 more per hour, but you're still getting that $50. And they'll be more than happy. It sounds like you're a good guy. But let's start branding Billy. Let's ask Billy.
Okay, yeah. That sounds like a really good idea.
All right, Billy. You going to call us back maybe in a month and tell us how it goes?
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know.
All right, Billy. Keep your chin up, because you know what? Listen, I've gotten hit by the ball many times. But then you keep swinging the bat. Even I got lucky. It hit it right at the park. And if you get hit in the head with the ball, sometimes you get on base too. That's what my coach used to tell me: lean into the ball and get hit and get on base. Can you imagine a little league coach telling you, "Do not"? This is in Brooklyn. This is this is what I went through. The guy said, "Don't swing the bat. Lean in and get hit."
So you were a star player?
No, I was like 10 years old, and the guy's telling me, "Don't swing the bat." So you know what I did? I went up, I swung the bat 3 times in a row as hard as I could, and I used to hit the ball sometimes. I was like, I'm not getting hit by the ball. What the fuck is this guy? Oh, can we get a bleep? 127-21. Sorry about that. But anyway, there you go. Good luck with it. We're rooting for you. You have my email. You email me anytime. If you get in despair and you're having a hard time, call me. I'll put you on the phone with Tyler. Because that's who I talk to.
Thank you.
All right, man. Be cool. There we go. That's pretty good. It's a little bit of a long call. What did you guys think of the call in the chat room? I am watching the chat room right now. I see people up. Somebody said take a drink. Tom Moore said take a drink. I think that was a pretty good call.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have another call. Let's take this next call. I'm going to interview you after we get a couple calls in. People love the calls. It gets the juices flowing.
I like the calls.
Yeah. All right. Next caller, please. There we go. Look at that. We have a ringing here. Peter from the 630. Are you there?
I am here, Jason.
Did you hear the last call?
No, I didn't.
Okay. No worries. So, Peter, tell me, you're calling in. How can we help you?
Well, about 6 weeks ago, I called in for Ask Jason, telling about my idea for Geek Stack, an online trading card game.
Yes.
The heroes of science and technology, and I wanted to follow up. Tell you what's happened since then.
I think this is the first follow-up.
Yep.
So this is the follow-up. Do you remember this call?
I did. I thought it was
So
a great
Joe
idea.
remembers the call. Everybody thought this was a great idea. Now, I'm going to recap the idea. You tell me if I got it right, because you pitched it so well.
Okay.
Our friend here, Peter, is creating a card game like, what's the other card game called? That's like
Magic.
Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. But instead of putting elves and warriors or whatever nonsense is on that, he's putting scientists and intelligent people, because he's got a passion for that, on the cards. So you could have Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein on cards and have them battling each other and doing all kinds of different things. So it's an incredible game. Kids learn something about science. You could sell these things at school. And he told us about this idea, and we said, well, this is brilliant. He's thinking, maybe I got to raise a ton of money for this. And I said, I don't know. I think you got to make a couple of cards and show them to people. And once they see that, it's such a purple cow.
Absolutely.
It's so unique. They're going to have passion about it.
Yeah.
And I said to you, why don't you just put this on 99 Designs for $50 and see if somebody can design it for you, make a prototype, and see what people think.
Yeah.
What did you do, Peter?
Well, I did go to 99 Designs. There's
Okay.
actually not a $50 option. It ended up being about $150.
That's 150.
I got some very good designs. It was hard to choose because there were several that were excellent, but there's one that did win, and I thought it was great, and I've used it everywhere since then. Actually, I wrote a page on my blog with a picture as well as updates, a lot of stuff I'm going to say in more detail. If you want to pull it up, it's at bit.ly/geekstackupdate.
bit.ly/geekstackupdate.
Yep.
Okay, I'm pulling it up right now on my computer. Let's see if it
And
loads.
you'll be able to see the winning picture, and it captures what I was looking for. That I just didn't want pictures of people. I wanted something powerful, something to show the scope of their accomplishments and all that. I think you'll see it in the picture of John von Neumann when it comes up.
Yeah, unfortunately, my connection is not working so well here.
Are you on
Oh,
wireless?
geez.
I'm on wireless, yeah.
My, it came up for me.
Strange. So tell me about where the business is at. You built the prototype, and I got to shake your hand and see it, actually, myself personally, at TechCrunch 50. You took the trip out there. Where are you from, again? I can't remember.
Chicago.
Chicago. So you came to TechCrunch 50. You had the prototypes. Where's the business at now?
Well, the other thing that I asked for when I was on the call with you last time was that I needed a co-founder with design, art, that kind of background. And a couple people got in touch with me, and one of them turned out to be a great fit. A guy
Really?
named Michael Pavlovich. He's a senior at Illinois State, so not only is he a good fit, but he's down the road. He's from Chicago. He comes up here on the weekends to see his family. So we've worked online for about a month, and we got to meet in person, work together for a while last week. It was really about as much as I could ask for. So he is working on the website, the front end, the graphic design.
Really?
I'm working on the game engine. I've had to rewrite it a few times, but each time it gets better. It gets smaller, easier code, easier to extend, all that stuff. We're looking to have a playable demo, not the finished game, but something you can look at and work with by the end of the year. He's got a big incentive because this is his senior class project.
Oh, really? Great.
Yep. So pressure's on him. And that's where the business is. When I was out at TechCrunch 50, I met quite a few people who were interested in it too. The guys from Spawn Labs, I talked to them and they loved it.
Oh,
so
cool.
Big thumbs up with them.
Yeah.
And I met a couple of people who I talked to about actually being on the cards.
Oh, you're
and
kidding.
Working through the
Wow.
their people getting agreements in place, talking about what they want out of it, what they need to contribute, and how I can help them. And
Do you have to get permission, do you think, or no?
I think
Unclear?
it's not clear. I've heard different opinions from different people I've talked to, from the legal side, but I want to have people engaged in it, involved with it. So anybody that I can interact with, I think it's going to be that much better.
Oh, well, here's an idea for you. A friend of mine, his name is Elon Musk, and he is doing the company called SpaceX. He did PayPal. He's also doing Tesla. He's a pretty brilliant guy. He's a good friend of mine. And he is the chief.
I just watched the special episode with his brother.
Yeah, Kimball on last week, correct? A special episode. And he's a pretty hardcore engineer guy. And if you make a card for him, I will personally email it to him. And I think he'll get a kick out of it. But I think these things only cost you $100 to make, and probably at scale, maybe less. Yeah, you should start making these. People are gonna respond when they get them. I think it's a great way to actually. The great way to get these people involved is to actually just send them the email and be like, "Hey, I'm a big fan of yours." I mean, if I got one of those, if somebody did this for Web 2.0 and internet, and somebody sent me my business card with me as a superhero, I'd be like, "Really? Wow, this is awesome!" Make me a poster.
Well, I've already thought of what yours would be like. You'd be sitting at a poker table with your poker visor on, and you'd be holding a hand of cards out.
Right.
But instead of playing card backs, they would be the backs of Weblogs Inc. and AOL.
It's pretty smart. Pretty smart. Yeah, exactly. This Week in Startups. Very smart. So this is going to happen for you. I think you're going to make this happen. What do you need now? Is there anything you need, or you just need time to build it out?
Time to build it out. I talked to a couple of investors at TechCrunch, and they said, this is really neat. I like it. Call me when you have a demo. So that's what we're pushing towards now.
Awesome.
But I have a special offer. Jason, I've been listening to your lessons about selling.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear the pitch.
The offer is, for anybody who has heard this and heard of it and has an opinion about it, I will send you a free copy of the prototype card that I've had professionally printed up. It's a picture that you can see on that website.
I'm looking at it right now. It looks beautiful.
All you got to do is either write a blog post telling you what you think of it, ideas, anything like that. If that's too much work, you can tweet it, something about it.
Oh, there's a card,
about Geek Stack.
Okay.
Or if you go to the website and sign up for the mailing list.
Okay.
Just do one of those three things, a blog, a tweet, or sign up for the mailing list, and then email the URL or the email that you use to peter@geekstack.com and the address where you want me to mail the card, and I will send one of these to you. There's only about 100 of them. Piece of history.
Great. This is a very cool offer, so everybody who's listening, go to geekstack.com. Is that right?
Yep.
Go to geekstack.com. I'm looking at right now at the John von Neumann one, and this is brilliant. I think this is great. So how much have you invested in the company so far?
Aside from getting myself a better laptop to work on, I've put in maybe $300 or $400 so far.
$300 or $400. Huh. Okay. And
website hosting, rented a server, cheap server, paid for the design.
Okay. And so to get 100 of these cards made in artwork is going to cost $50 each? That's $5,000?
$150 each if I go through 99 Designs.
Well, some of these guys would do it.
More or less if I go through.
How many are you going to
find someone who can do them in bulk.
How many are you going to make in the initial pack? 50?
Looking for the initial set for the game to be between 200 and 300.
Oh, wow. So you have to make 200 for the game at, let's say, $50 each. That's $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you have to print them. What's the printing cost going to be to make these packs?
The printing, I think, is going to end up being less than paying for the art, from what I've looked at.
So $5,000 or something?
But we're starting with online version so that we can have more access to playtesters, work out the kinks in the game.
Got it.
Once they're printed on cards, they're set in stone, and there's not the ability to undo or change things.
Cool.
So not too worried about printing costs yet.
And if you were to print them, what does it cost to print a set of these? Do you think is it going to wind up being $1 to make a pack or $2 to make a pack, and then what are you going to sell them for? $5?
Depending on it just depends on how many of them get printed, but I think $1 to $2 a pack, and selling them for $5 is probably about right.
I think your idea is beyond brilliant.
Yeah,
it's going to work.
Thank you.
I think you can print it for a lot cheaper than that too.
Yeah.
When you do scale.
Joe likes the idea. I like the idea. I want an update in a couple of weeks, couple months about this, and I think I am ready to invest in this company. I think it's if you get the game built, I'm going to have one of my nephews play the game. I'm going to find 2 or 3 kids to play the game, and if they think it's cool, I'm going to make you an offer to invest in this company. You think this is going to work, right, Tyler?
It's It's amazing the percentage of these kinds of opportunities that work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like white guys in hip hop. It's like on a percentage basis, it works out really well.
I have no idea what you just said. That was an incredible
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's a great thing.
It's a great thing.
Okay.
It's like wheelchairs at Disneyland. It's like you're going right to the front of the line.
Gotcha. All right. So that's an insight from Tyler.
All right.
You're like a wheelchair at Disneyland, whatever that means. But okay, you have a sense this is going to work, right?
Right.
And you have a sense that this is an entrepreneur who is not going to give up. He's going to fight, and he is passionate, and he'll do whatever it takes.
Well, he seems kind of mellow on the phone, but I get the sense.
I know. Maybe he's. I mean, he may speak in a calm tone.
Right.
He may not be spastic or hyper like me or other people, but he's. I mean, I clearly get your passion for this project, and I clearly think you're going to bring it over the finish line, and that's really what it is. Because starting is easy, finishing is hard, and you're going to finish.
Just think mellow like a freight train.
Mellow like a freight train. I like it. All right, Peter, get this done. You email me immediately when it's done. I'm going to put some beta testers on there. I got my nephew Isaac and my other nephew Nicholas, and I'm going to put the two of them on it because they're internet kids and they like this kind of stuff.
How old are they?
I think like 13 and 12 and 14. So they're like right in that sweet spot for you, probably right before high school. Like, what's that? A tween? That's probably It's pretty much the sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
And these are
much
these are smart kids.
Where puberty is raging, that's the best time.
And these are smart kids. They're going to like this. And I highly recommend you make the Elon Musk card and send it to me. And I will send it to him.
All right.
And I'm trying to think of Nathan Myhrvold's another good one. Do you know Nathan Myhrvold? He's was the chief scientist.
I know who he is, yeah.
So Nathan Myhrvold's a friend of mine. I will do the same offer. I will email 2 different billionaires for you.
All right. I like billionaires.
And personally send these 2 billionaires your card. I just realized they're billionaires,
all right.
both those guys. Okay, Peter, you're my hero. You're killing it. You're crushing it. I am absolutely thrilled that you called back in. I was thrilled that you came to TechCrunch 50. Keep me appraised of your progress.
I will do that.
Okay. Starting is easy. Finishing is hard.
Hard.
Yes. Okay, we'll talk soon. Bye. I mean, come on. Does it get better than that? I mean, is that not... It's just
awesome.
It's just awesome.
Yeah.
This guy called in. Can somebody cut the tape of him calling in the first time and then cut the tape of the second time and call it, on YouTube, call it Geek Stack Parts 1 and 2 from Twist. Geek Stack Parts 1 and 2 from Twist. What was it? When did he call in?
God, that was
Oh, you know what you can do?
a while ago.
You can go to the
6
recap
episodes
site.
ago,
Go to
7 episodes.
Startup Recaps.
Yeah.
What is the site?
The Scott Simcoe's thing?
Yeah, Scott Simcoe's thing. Scott Simcoe will know. Scott Simcoe, can you put, or somebody put in the chat room, please, when they were on, go to the startup thing, and let's get that going. So now it's time for Shark Tank.
Great.
This was supposed to be a quick show, but the 2 callers were so good.
You never have a quick show.
It's ridiculous. It's really 2 shows.
Yeah.
We do 2 shows. The interview, and then we should probably just make Twist into 2 shows. Interview show, and then the rest of Twist, which is, I don't know.
Maybe just keep it the way it is.
Maybe just keep it the way it is. It's too many ideas. Okay, let's get Jason's Shark Tank going. Here it is.
That's what I want. That's what I want. What I want. That's what I want.
There you go. Shark Tank with Jason Calacanis. Everybody knows the origin of this segment. Mark Burnett's people called me twice. We love you. We love everything about you. You're the greatest. Blah, blah, blah. We got your Wikipedia page bookmarked. All this other nonsense. They called me twice.
Okay.
I didn't call them. Yeah. How can we talk to you? This and that. Yeah. Hold on. Let me get the call here. Hello, Ian. Are you there?
Hey, I'm here.
Okay. Hold on, Ian, because I'm ranting for a minute. So they call me, Mark Burnett's people, twice. Shark Tank, Shark Tank, Shark Tank. You've seen Dragon's Den. And ironically, when Tyler and I were in London, everybody's like, you have to be on Dragon Den. They should have you on Dragon Den. You would be perfect for Dragon Den. Yeah. You're an entrepreneur. You give good advice. You invest in companies. You would be perfect for Dragon Den. And we're like, what's Dragon Den? So they explained to us. We watch it. We said, that's a good idea. Somebody should do that in America. Yeah. Sure enough, they bring it to America. They asked me to be on the show. They want me to meet with ABC and this and that. I said, okay, fine. Talk to Tyler. Because Tyler vets these things for me. Sure. What's going on. Tyler calls them. And what happens, Tyler?
She's just, we think he would be great, and or we hope it works out, and there'll probably be some get-togethers, and
right.
So, and then what?
And then nothing. So I'm like, really? Very professional. You call 3 times, and then you never even respond and say, like, listen, hey, we got another person, or this and that. And not that I care. I mean, I do care a little bit because it would have been cool to be on it. But I also watch the show, and they're kind of jerks on the show. I mean, they sort of like, I mean, I know it's got to be television, it's got to be dramatic, but that's not the way entrepreneurship works. You see how we work with Peter and Geek Stack?
Yeah.
I mean, we're here to make the entrepreneur grow, to help them, to support them, to motivate them, and give them tools to succeed. On that show, they're there to destroy the entrepreneur.
You cultivate them, and they're destroying them.
Right. It's cultivation versus destruction. Just do yourself a favor there. Make sure you're not playing the sound, Ian. Ooh.
I think he's being attacked by aliens.
I think Ian's being attacked by aliens. I think that those are the Cylons coming in. Ian, are you there?
Jason, how you doing?
Hey, so if you do you have us like open air on Skype or something? Because you're making a lot of noise there.
Yeah, you can't watch the show and be on it.
You can't watch the show and be on it. Yeah. Let me. Can we get a? Yeah, let me hang this one up. Okay, they're gonna get him back in. So anyway, all that long nonsense. So then I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't need Mark Burnett. I don't need ABC.
No, just
25,000 people are listening to this show every episode. It's probably twice as many as watching Shark Tank. That show's going to be canceled. Okay, Ian, do we have a better connection?
Jason, how you doing?
Oh, that's better. Okay, speak right into the microphone. You don't have us on speakerphone, right?
No, I don't know.
That's better. Okay, so you know the rules of the game. Take about 60 seconds, 90 seconds. You're going to pitch Joe and I, Joe Essenfeld of LocalBacon, one of my favorite new companies. Pitch us on your idea in 3,
Right.
2, 1. You're on.
Okay, I'm here to pitch Scholar.com. That's SCOLLA. It's a hosted communications platform for schools. Basically, I've got 3 children who attend 2 different schools. Each week you get bombarded with a whole bunch of stuff, parental consent forms, weekly newsletters, birthday invites, all of that good stuff. Basically, what happens is that all gets lost. The kids lose all that stuff. What you'll find is the ski trip letter gets top of the pile, but you'll get stuff like the report, the school report, the dodgy school report gets bottom of the pile. You don't even get to see it. What I propose is a technical solution to fix all this. Schools will save time, money, and the environment by not churning out all of these bits of paper each week. They'll be delivering these messages directly within the Scholar platform. Schools will be able to make use of real-time SMS updates as well to parents when needed, for example, if there's a school closure or a late return from a soccer match. Parents, students, and teachers all have logins. Parents can log in and make direct contact with a teacher if they want. They can also make contact with other parents in the classroom. Another feature, essentially there's loads of features that I want to include, but the killer feature I think is the student-to-student functionality. Basically, kids can securely email or real-time chat within the platform, either within their class, within their school, or within other schools that are on the Scholar platform. Obvious revenue stream really is to charge schools a small fee per student. They may well go and charge that back to the kids or to the kids' parents. Essentially, that's it. That's Scholar. That's the idea. I'd love your feedback, Jason.
Yeah. So this is a good idea, and I am actually on the board of a school, a private school that's about 10 years old. It's going into its 11th year, called Bay Ridge Preparatory School. You can see it at bayridgeprep.com. And Bay Ridge Prep is in Brooklyn, and I am the treasurer of the school, on the board, blah, 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 blah. And they actually have a piece of software that is like an intranet for, it's an intranet for exactly this stuff. And I'm actually on their website
for just their school, yeah?
Yeah, for just their school. And so,
okay, so imagine if you could link that in with other schools in the area or nationally, internationally. That's kind of where I'm going with this.
Okay, so that's a different thing. So there are school management platforms. You've researched those, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now your idea, which was a little hard to get at, because you had every idea, and this is this is where a lot of entrepreneurs start. Don't worry, because when I started Mahalo, I said, well, what we're doing is we're creating a human-powered version of Google with a Yahoo Answers built in and a Wikipedia thing built in. And they looked at me and said, okay, you're building the 3 of the top 10 largest sites together as one. I said, yeah, exactly. And they all looked at me like I was crazy. And so a lot of times entrepreneurs start with a very big, wide vision, and then you sort of start to narrow it down. So narrowing down your vision, there are a lot of people doing school platforms where you can get paperwork and all that kind of stuff. But there is one piece in that in your idea, which is securely communicating across different schools. Yeah. And what is the goal of doing that? Why would I want to tell Bay Ridge Prep as a board member, you know, you need this platform so that Bay Ridge Prep can talk to this school in, you know, Oxford, and the 6th grade class there can talk to the 6th grade class there. What's the upside in that?
Exactly, and that's essentially what I need to get over to these people. You know, it's a secure. You know, nobody. You know, closed platforms aren't necessarily the buzzword in the industry right now. But for a kids' school, I think a secure closed platform where kids can get out and talk safely, and their parents know that they're talking safely to kids either in their class or another school, or school down the road. You know,
right. Okay, so kind of like here's what I'm getting at. What is the use case? So when you're raising money for something or you're pitching something, especially at like a TechCrunch 50, and Joe went through this interrogation process with Tyler and I. You know, you can have a good idea, you can have technology, these are all features, bells and whistles, but what is the use case? What is the best example you can give me of why this 6th grade class in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, where I come from, is going to want to talk to the 6th grade class in Oxford? Why would they do that? What can you tell a teacher? Wouldn't it be great if these 2 classes got together in a chat room or a video chat securely in order to accomplish what?
Okay, I guess you'd sell it based on. It's a bit like your geography field trip. I mean, there are things about the UK. There are things that custom areas that are specific to where you are and where we are. That, you can basically share that knowledge. It's a bit like an exchange. An exchange student who goes and spends a week at another family. Basically use technology to leverage that type of benefit.
So you're getting closer now. And what I heard you say was exchange students.
Yeah.
And that, to me, I got it. When you said exchange students, I got it. So that's a good use case. And then there was also this thing when I was taking French classes, when I was a kid, we had pen pals. And I would write a letter in French, they would write a letter in English, and we'd read them, and we did it 2 or 3 times, and I was just like, this is the most insane thing I've ever done, and why am I doing this? But it was a girl, and it was like, I was 14 or 15, so that was kind of motivating when I was 15, like I'm going to meet this.
For the picture with the pen pals.
Well, yeah, I was like, I'm going to meet this French girl. This, ooh la la, this could be good. So aside from trying to date hot chicks in France, which is not going to sell very well with the parents, the exchange student thing and learning about the rest of the world is a very, very, very cool idea. So a virtual exchange program is fairly brilliant. I've never heard that idea before. I'm sure 1,000 people have had it. But you're pitching it now. So I think that what you should do is just take that one idea and really, really refine it. And how do you refine it? You have 3 kids. Go to your teachers and say, may I get a cup of coffee with you? Or a spot of tea, as the case may be. And ask them what they would think of each of their students being in a chat room once every month or once a week for half an hour, interviewing another student from another country about their life and them interviewing them about their life with supervision, with the transcripts all saved, so there's no nonsense going on, and they write a paper about it. So I write a paper, I'm the kid from Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, I write a paper about somebody from Paris, I write a paper about somebody from Oxford, write a paper about somebody from Tokyo, and write a paper about somebody from Shanghai and somebody from Bangladesh. I mean, I think that these teachers' heads are going to explode. And this is something that I would go to the Bay Ridge Prep people and say, we should try this at the very least. And this, what I like about this idea is this isn't necessarily a technology play, because there's plenty of technology to do this. You don't have to make the technology. You could leverage Ustream technology. We could get you on the phone with the Ustream guys, and this technology is free. They can customize it. They have a paid version, don't they, Ustream? What's it called? There's some paid version. Somebody tell me what that is in the chat room.
Yeah, we saw that before. You spoke about it before on another show, on their show, in fact.
Right, so you could make this in a pilot program with one of your kids' teachers, and then you just have to find somebody somewhere in Africa, the United States, and you know somebody in the United States, me. We might be able to actually do a pilot of this. It could be incredible.
That would be amazing.
So what you need to do is you need advocates. And the advocates in this case are going to be parents and teachers. You're a parent, get your teacher, talk about it and say, if we could have our students interface with some students in Brooklyn and just try this, where they get to talk to each other about life there. And this class has 3 speakers come up and present what they do every day and what it's like to live in Brooklyn. And where are you from in the UK?
I'm from just outside London.
Right. So this could be, we could probably do this year, before the end of the year. So you just have to get one of your teachers on board, and then I'll try to get one of my teachers on board, and we could try it, and then you document it, and you videotape it. Now you got a sales pitch. When you walk into a venture capitalist, this pitch goes from being, nonsense and some guy gibberish, blah, 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 to I'm watching a videotape of this happen. I have kids. All these VCs have kids. They might buy this. What do you think, Joe?
So is this potentially something you'd be interested in investing in as well? Can you see this as a goer, really?
You know what? I don't know you and your background, number one, so I'd have to look into that and make sure you're not a felon. Or if you are a felon, it wasn't for something violent, and you have a good explanation for it. Number two, I'd have to see you take it further, honestly. So if this was your 4th startup company, or your 2nd, and you had a successful exit already to Google, maybe it's like a no-brainer. But
my basic situation, I have a couple of online businesses that I run. I essentially live off of those, but they're literally the lifestyle businesses. I earn a couple of $100,000 off of those. I live quite happily, 3 kids in private school, but I want to take this thing to the next level,
Yeah. So I think what you need to do is, just like the caller we had on before, let's try to move this down the field a little bit, and let's see how far you can take it off of your sweat equity, because as Mark Cuban always told me, sweat equity is the best equity. Taking money from people has a price. Sweating, you have no price. All you do is drink some more water, you sweat some more. Yeah, he's been one of the few mentors I've been able to have, but I want to hear Joe's thoughts on this. Joe, what do you think?
Well, hearing you guys talk about it, it made me think about the ability to share lesson plans, where if you're sending messages and information between different schools, they're teaching pretty much the same thing. So if teachers all shared their lessons plans together, they can look at other resources for it. That was the idea that came to mind when you guys were talking about it. I would worry about with the virtual exchange student, like, how do you actually do a full curriculum if he's in another school? How would the logistics work behind that? Like, what were you thinking of with the virtual exchange student?
Well, I was just thinking, as a parent, I'm going to be a parent, he's a parent, you would like, in this day and age, when the world is so global and intertwined, just for your child to have met somebody from another country and talk to them about their life. I mean, parents spend thousands of dollars doing this every year for 10 years. So when their kids go to college, they're not a knucklehead. And let's face it, American kids are knuckleheads. I mean, most Americans don't have a passport. We're pathetic compared to people in Europe, where kids in Europe probably go to 2 or 3 countries a year. We barely go to 2 or 3 states in this country. I mean, we're knuckleheads. Yeah. So if the knuckleheads in America could actually meet people from other cultures and understand like what it's like to live in Shanghai or Bangladesh or South Africa, I mean, it's just, that's transformative. So just that alone, just having spoken to a person from another country, I feel makes you a fuller person.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know Tyler has become a very good person having traveled around the world.
Well, I traveled a lot before we did.
No, that's my point. Is like, honestly, Tyler, one of the things...
Is there an insight?
It is pretty much an insight, but it's not. It's my insight, so I'm not Tyler, so you can't play the music. But my insight is one of the reasons why Tyler is so critical to Mahalo as an organization and to me is because he is very international and he does know a lot about people and he has been around the world. So when we went to Tokyo or Korea, he speaks Japanese. He's been to Europe before. People say, "Oh, what did you do?" "Oh, yeah, no, I spent a couple of years here. I spent a couple of months here." You're just a different category of people. Yeah, I think, and so that's what I think. Forget about lesson plans. Forget about teaching anything. Yeah. What you're teaching is being a world citizen.
Culture, yeah.
Culture. That alone is enough. If the teachers want to take it somewhere else, if they want to discuss politics, if they want to discuss wars, if they want to discuss the UN, mazel tov. Mazel. Mazel for everybody. But
Jason, you haven't mentioned monetizing it at all. Is it ever too early to think about monetizing? I mean, where do we go there?
This is super simple. If I'm a parent, I would pay $25 to have, or $50, I would pay $100 to have my child do 1 or 2 of these with supervision. I would pay for this easily. As a matter of fact, this is something that you could actually gift to somebody, a virtual pen pal, and we do the reconciliation. So you give the grandparent gives to their child a gift certificate for 3 hours or for 3 meetings, of their choice. It could be 3 different people or 3 with the same person, 3 hours of talk time with another person that's supervised. So when the 2 kids are talking and they're on video chat, there's a monitor watching. And they may be watching 20 kids, making sure they're not doing anything inappropriate, looking at the transcripts, listening in once in a while.
Right.
I would pay for that.
Yeah.
I'd pay $50 an hour. I'd pay $25 an hour as a parent.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think that there's a go direct to people at home, give it for free to schools, and then have the parents upsell the parents on doing more.
So it's an international pen pal marketplace.
Exactly. It's an international, or an international, what do they call it when kids go away?
Transfer student.
Whatever.
Exchange, yeah.
Exchange student. It's a virtual exchange student program. Parents pay thousands of dollars to send their kids this, so they'll pay $300 for this.
Yeah.
And what if they got badges or some achievement and a certificate? I've met 5 people from around the world. I've met people from each continent. I've met people from 10 different countries. Yeah. Then when they go to apply for college, or they go to apply for high school or a private school, if you can staple to it, here are the people I've met from around the world, and give that on your transcript to a teacher or an admissions person, and they interview and say, oh, what did you do? Oh, you met somebody from South Africa? What were they like? Yes, I've met people from South Africa. Of course, I've met people from Bangladesh and Tokyo and Shanghai and here and there and Greece. I mean, that would set you apart from other students.
Yeah,
so for a $500 investment or a $1,000 investment, you might get into a better college.
Yeah.
I mean, this is real stuff. People will spend any amount of money on their kids.
Yeah, they will.
I mean, forget it. You think people will spend money on poker, drugs, cars, sex? Nothing compared to what they will spend on their kids.
And you're getting ready for that.
I'm getting ready for that. Poker's over. So much for the poker.
Brilliant. I appreciate that, Jason.
Ian, I think Ian, you got a great idea. Let's move the ball down the court. Let's try to make some progress. Will you do that for me?
I certainly will do. And by the way, well done on those 11 million uniques as well, by the way. You haven't mentioned that yet, I don't think.
You know what? I just don't like it. This show is about you guys. I try to make the show about other people. Same thing with TechCrunch 50. Yeah. You know, people know what I'm doing. They can go to Quantcast and see 108th largest site in the United States after just 2 years. But I'm not going to say it. Yeah. I mean, I will say it. But.
I was looking for those iPhone 3GSs today.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now we've got this is the whole thing. I was told everybody to get $200 towards
You need to follow through, Jason.
I know. So anyway, what happens is then the developers come to me, and now they've got a whole. They're talking to the union representative about, can we do a Google Android phone? And I said, okay, fine. What am I supposed to say? I rant on Apple, and then they're like, well, I just said, as long as it does video and lets you upload videos to YouTube and email, that's what I want. I want everybody to have that kind of a phone. Yeah. And then I said, okay, maybe so put $200 towards Android. What the heck do I care? Anyway, Ian, I got to get onto the program. This program's too good. You have a great idea.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks for pitching us. Great idea. This is, 3 great segments. Really happy with that.
Yeah.
So let me just see here. I'm going down my rundown list here. We thank the sponsors, Ustream, DNA Mail, WebSpy, and Audible. We did 2 Ask Jasons, both pretty good.
Yeah.
I have to say. We did Shark Tank, excellent.
Very good.
And now it says here the interview segment. And that would be you.
That's correct.
Joe Essenfeld, founder of LocalBacon.
That's right.
So explain to the audience how we met.
Well, I actually saw that you were going to a Digiday Apps conference.
Right.
And you said that you only roll deep and you give 8 people a free ticket. So I wasn't going to spend $500 to see you, being a bootstrap startup. So I got one of the free tickets, luckily.
Great.
And then I went there, and the conference was okay.
But I didn't realize that that's how we got into that. Yeah. That's how we met. Okay. I know we met at the conference, but I didn't realize that it was because you were rolling deep. And so just for people's background, anytime I speak at a conference, Tyler says, if you want Jason to speak at a conference, you got to give him 10 tickets to a conference. They go, 10 tickets? Oh, my God. And then he's like, well, Jason charges a speaking fee. He's not giving you a speaking fee. He likes to give tickets to entrepreneurs or people who are on his mailing list. We did that.
Yeah, promotion.
For me, it's like I like to roll deep.
They might sell 4 additional tickets.
Well, if I'm speaking there, not to get a big head, but it does sell tickets.
Out of you promoting the the free tickets, they're going to sell.
Yes, exactly. So you emailed the ticket line.
That's right.
And just so you know, when we did that promotion for Digiday Apps, we had 8 tickets. We had to have had at least 50 people apply for those tickets. So you had...
There's luck right there.
1 in 5 or 6 chance to get in. So anyway, you come to the event.
And you needed the support because they were going on you with that Mac brand.
Yeah.
So I go to the conference and then waited for the right time, when you were looking at your BlackBerry and weren't talking to anyone, and then pitched you in 30 seconds. You walked away and came back, and then you said what you said.
Right.
And we were actually just about to launch at, that day. It said, hold off for TechCrunch 50. So I called my developer, called my partner, and they said, yeah, we got to hold off. Let's go for it.
Yep.
So we literally spent the next 40 hours making our TechCrunch 50 app.
And this was July, I think, or something.
Yeah.
So exactly. July, we were in the thick of picking the companies.
End of July, yeah.
End of July. We're in the thick of picking the companies. Many of the companies at that point had been picked already, actually. Yeah. And I heard the idea, and it's just one of those ideas that you go, yeah, that's going to work. It solves the two big pain points I have. Yep. So explain to everybody in your own words what the idea is. The idea from LocalBacon came from my experience hiring people. And there's so much noise on both sides. So when people apply to jobs, they're sending their application in, and it becomes one of 300. So as the employer goes through it, they're looking through 300 applications to find those 15 that work. So we figured the best way to clear out the noise was to actually charge the job seeker. And what that does is it creates a situation where they're going to apply to only jobs that they're very serious about. And in return for the 99 cents at a cost, which is pretty much the average cost on our site, we're guaranteeing them feedback. So they get to see exactly what the employer thought or the recruiter thought about their resume and when they looked at it. So, I get people saying, oh, I can apply for free. Why would I apply on LocalBacon? But if you're a serious candidate and you really want to get a job, is it not worth 99 cents to see when your application is viewed? Is it not worth 99 cents to get feedback? I mean, it totally is. It's worth more than that. So we operate on that premise, not charging employers to post to make sure we get the best content, and we're filtering it. So we don't let every job up there. We actually look at every single one, make sure it matches our profile. It's a full-time job, no multi-level marketing, no commission only, and we're hitting the sweet spot of $10 an hour to $60,000 a year. Those are the jobs that we're really looking to fill. And our demographics is about 18 to 24-year-olds, and they're loving the site. We haven't had a huge traffic spike, but the people that are using it, we're getting interviews for, and we're close to getting our first hire. Okay, so the thing that people immediately say is charging people to get a job, to apply for a job. Yeah. Bells go off. This could be a scam. Sure. This might be like those things where they have like model calls and they charge you $100 to apply for a job. Yeah, they find you in the mall and then... Or actually, somebody told me something crazy today, Tyler. There is a Keiretsu angel group. I think it's called Keiretsu. Do you know about this? Oh, yeah. I'm infuriated about this. Yeah. They charge so much money to pitch. It's ridiculous. This is the most disgusting thing. I am going to go on a jihad against this. This is going to be... Can I get a graphic for a Jason jihad? I honestly want one of the fans to create a Jason jihad, put me in a turban or something, and strap some bombs to my body. Because I am going to go blow this thing up. Literally, I'm going to strap bombs to my body and walk into the Keiretsu thing, and I'm going to blow it up with all 50 people in there. Is this inappropriate, Tyler? Well,
now you know why some people will go to this measure.
Is it inappropriate for me to say the word jihad?
Someone's going to get upset.
I don't care. It, yeah. I'm as angry as Osama bin Laden right now. that level of anger. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a violent person, but if I could get, I swear to God, if I could get just 5 minutes with that guy, that's all I need. I would literally...
You should go in and pitch him.
I would give, honestly, every single thing I own. My home, my car, everything but my dogs and wife. I'd even give all my stock in Mahalo away for 5 minutes with that mother effer in a room.
I think I can set that up.
So hell,
I'll do it for a lot less than all that.
I just need 5 minutes. Anyway, this is a side rant. But this Keiretsu thing is charging... I don't know the facts, so I hate to speak out of school, but you may know some of the facts. Somebody told me it's a group of angel investors who charge $3,000 for you to pitch your idea to supposed angel investors? Something like that, yeah. You've heard of this? I have. No, I have. Bring me the son of Jor-El. Where was that the line from Superman? Bring them to me. Jason Nation, bring me Keiretsu. I want all the paperwork. This is an official investigation. I want the paperwork. I want email trails. I want recorded phone calls if that's legal where you're from. I want every documentation on Keiretsu. Is it just called Keiretsu? Keiretsu, yeah. Tyler, are you looking this up?
Yeah, I've got it right here.
See, Tyler's
in the Northwest, in like the Seattle area.
Keiretsu Capital.
Yeah.
Keiretsu Capital, come to me. Bring them to me. I am so infuriated by this. So read me what their pitch is. Does it say you have to charge? Find the money on this thing. I am on fire about this. I wish my computer was working. I'm going to break this computer. I'm going to find these Keiretsu guys, and I am going to kill them. $3,000 to charge, to pitch?
It's a lot.
Have you considered this? Have you been pitched on it? How did you hear about it?
Well, research. I mean, you got to see everything that's out there. A lot of angel groups charge, but the $3,000 is ridiculous. What seems to be normal is like $300.
Why should you charge? It's their honor and privilege.
I agree.
To receive this pitch. I am going to destroy Keiretsu if this is true. I literally am going to destroy these guys.
Yep. I think they're looking to vet, and that's their excuse, and also to cover their expenses because they're doing it.
If you're an angel investor, what expenses do you need?
I agree. I think that to get the best deal flow is what you would want.
This is the biggest scam ever. Bring them to me. Anyway, sidetrack. Yeah. As you can see how passionate I am about that.
That's great.
People feel the same way about if you charge for a job. So when people have this reaction, and did I have that reaction?
No.
I didn't have that reaction because you said it was $1.
Right.
And I said $1 is nothing. It cost 37 cents to send.
Right. To print out your resume and
44 cents. Yeah. Something. Printing it out.
Printing out and mailing it is more expensive.
Yeah, you're at $2.
Right. And then it goes into the black hole. You really never know what happened at that point.
Right. And you have to go to the store. So this is a lot cheaper.
Absolutely.
So what do I get for the $1? That's what I think when people will understand the idea is when you clearly explain that the $1 gets you what?
Okay. Well, in addition to seeing exactly when your application is viewed and getting feedback, you're going in through a much less noisy channel. So
that's 3 different things.
That's 3 different things.
Number 1, you know when they open it.
That's right.
So what happens? Like at the minute they open it, you get an email alert?
You get an email alert, and it says, X employer just opened your application. And then on LocalBacon in your application center, it updates your application status and says viewed. And then as they're viewing it, the only way that they can get it out of their new folder is they classify it. And they can actually pick from a multiple choice list feedback to give you. And that's how they move that application.
So what would the feedback be? You suck, or you're great, or?
Well, we're actually working on implementing, the employer can actually customize it. So we can give them 30 different features, and then they can pick the specific feedback that they want to list so that it meets their cultural needs in the company. But most of the common feedback would be application not formatted the right way, in addition to not relevant experience, not enough education. So what we're doing now is we're assembling all this information, and we're making metrics for job seekers. So come on LocalBacon, you spend $7, $8, which is what people are spending, to apply to multiple jobs, and then you get to see why you're not getting interviews, why you're not getting hired, and then we recommend jobs that actually match your skill set.
So now this is when the whole $1 thing just goes poof away. And this is why people. This is why the idea is so good. This is why I fell in love with the idea immediately, which is whenever a large group of people say that's a terrible idea, most people are stupid, right? I mean, that's just my belief. Is that most people are not that smart. They're not that visionary.
Right.
I mean, I shouldn't say maybe most people are stupid. Probably that may be true. Let's put that aside. Most people are not visionary. Nobody would disagree with that.
Right.
So if you have a visionary idea and you explain it to a lot of people, if it is truly a visionary idea, they will not get it, and they will give you all the reasons why it's not going to work.
Right.
And I bet you 6, 7, 8 out of 10 people tell you this isn't going to work, or did.
At least, yeah. When I first started with this idea and was cultivating it, pitching just random people, it was just like this adverse reaction. And now we're using it to our advantage because it becomes kind of a press-worthy story where you have this group of people.
It's your purple cow.
Right.
It's your
That's exactly right.
Incongruous thing.
Yeah. It's controversial platform.
LocalBacon charges.
Right.
On tonight's local news, a company that's charging to apply for jobs.
Right.
KTLA investigates. I mean, it does sound like
we would love that. No, that's what we're shooting for.
Right.
I think it's a great way to get some press and really get some visitors on the site.
So now I'm logged into it right now. Or actually, I'm not logged in, but I have it up here on my screen. And one of the things I like is that you have this cool Ajax-y thing. So I can say, I'm going to clear all the job searches, and I'm going to pick. Maybe I'll just pick IT. And now I see just the IT jobs.
That's right.
And I could say, you know what, I don't want hourly jobs. I just want the salary jobs. And you know what, let's boost this up to things that are over 45K. And I don't want to work in Hoboken. That's a disaster. I certainly don't want to work in Jersey City or Long Island. You get the idea. So you go through all these things. And then when you apply, boom, I'm not logged in right now, but when you apply, you've already got your resume in there, you write the cover letter. So it's sort of like it's just very easy workflow.
Absolutely.
And what's the reaction from the people who are posting jobs?
Posting jobs, I mean, it's free for them, and we're giving them candidates. So the reaction is keep it coming, and they kind of don't believe that we're actually doing this for free. And
don't they have their own systems, though?
Well, they do and they don't. A lot of the small to medium-sized businesses don't. Outlook is their system. So this is a much better substitute for SMBs.
Google Apps is our system, and
right.
I mean, it's a disaster when we try to hire somebody because of the economy. You get 300-400 resumes
every time. Even in a good economy, that happens.
And the resumes you get,
garbage. Half
of them are people who are not in the state.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel terrible that there's people in the middle of America or wherever, and they're in 2 states over, and they're applying for jobs here, and I'm like, we want somebody here. And we're not willing to pay for relocation expenses. It's too difficult. How are we going to interview you? And nobody actually reads the things. Yeah, I think if you're charging $1 to actually apply, people might actually read what the qualifications are. And the people, I would say, 1/3 of the Craigslist, 1/3 of Craigslist applications to a technical job are what? You probably know.
What do you mean? 1/3 of what?
1/3 of when you would put an IT job and a program up there. What is the thing that about half or 1/3 of what you get that you absolutely don't want?
I have no idea.
You get headhunters.
Oh yeah, they're spamming you.
Spammers, headhunters, outsourcing.
Yep.
Just my consulting company. I mean, I'm specifically said no recruiters, no consulting companies, no outsourcing. We're looking for a Python. Yeah. And nobody reads it.
No, and then your email address is done because they know that that's a recruiting email address. So they just keep hammering it.
Because these guys are doing the spray and pray technique.
Exactly.
They're just going to hit every single job. They probably have robots doing that, I would guess.
I think they're scraping it and they're getting the email
scraping
addresses.
and roboting it? Yeah. So they love it. You make $1. When you make $1 on these job things, would that be enough to make a business out of, you think, in your projections?
Well, that's enough to make a lifestyle business, but what's going to make this a business that scales nationally is that we start monetizing the employer side.
And so how do you monetize the employer side?
Just like Craigslist did and the Ladders did. The Ladders established fantastic content first by not charging employers. They got great traction with job seekers, and then they went to the employers and charged them more than Monster and Career Builder was because they've got such a good following of qualified candidates. So we're going along the same model of that. And then Craigslist, they charge $25, $50, or $75 to post a job, depending on how many jobs. San Francisco at $75, New York is $25. So as we get traction in a city, you know what? You've already hired 10 people off LocalBacon. It's $25 to post now.
Yeah.
And the employers are actually asking us when we're going to charge and how much. And when we tell them, anything below $100, they're like, if we're hiring people, we're willing to pay $400 because we're already doing it.
What you could do is you could make it like your first 10 are free.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
And then it's $100 a job, and if you get whatever.
Absolutely.
But I'm so excited about using it, and just so excited about the company. And it's good ideas are simple.
Yes.
How long did it take to build this? Are you the programmer?
No. I actually got our programmer from your show.
What?
Lockhart Steele, that episode,
he
called in, Jason Roberts, and he was talking about his previous business and winding it down. I said, this guy's a pretty good developer. Let me email him.
You're kidding.
And that's how LocalBacon was born.
That was the guy who was doing the
Prezo. Presentations on the web.
You're kidding.
No.
What is going on with the show? The show is making things happen. So I think we should just change the whole purpose of the show. I mean, the whole idea of the show might just have to be, we will help build these companies. That's it. That's the thing. It would be not This Week in Startups. It will be This Week in Building Companies or something.
We are the world.
We are the world. Kumbaya. How long did it take to build?
We started programming in the beginning of June, so we banged it out really fast.
So I tell you, I think this is really good. You might get into TechCrunch. Don't launch. You take my advice. Yeah. I get you on the phone with Heather Hardy and Mike Arrington, and somebody pitched me.
Yeah, pitched you.
And then somebody else, they eventually saw it at some point. So I pitched them, and they saw it. They thought it was very cool.
Great.
They liked the idea. And then all of a sudden, you're in.
Yeah. It was an amazing 72 hours. It's fantastic.
So now you're in.
Yeah.
And you come to the rehearsals.
Right.
So tell people what that's like, because people don't know that. That's like the underground stuff, and it hasn't really been spoken about too much.
Yeah.
But tell us exactly what it's like, good, bad, ugly, warts and all, how you were feeling, and what it specifically was, the rehearsals.
Well, I thought it was a great setup for the rehearsals, because it was a Sequoia Capital. So you're doing it at a place that's just a phenomenal setting, and for an entrepreneur, you're walking into just a great environment to pitch. And before I got there, I really had no idea what to expect. I wanted to be prepared, but at the same time, I feel more comfortable kind of when I'm going off the cuff. So I was in the hotel writing on their little notepad kind of what I was going to say the night before.
Right.
And then I drive there, definitely nerve-wracking. You sit in the audience, you're making us wait like half an hour, 45 minutes, which is great. And then you go up and pitch, and it's you, Tyler. It's kind of like this set.
Right.
And you basically say, okay, go, and you're on. And then it was just myself there, and I had the laptop and the screen, and I kept it within the 6 minutes. And when I was done, I had no idea how I had done.
Right.
I just know I didn't mess up, and I pretty much communicated what I want to. And then the most valuable part is that you guys really give constructive feedback.
Right.
I showed the video to a lot of people who I get advice from, and they said their feedback was actually the best that
Right.
it could have been. So.
Great. And we videotaped it.
And you videotaped it, right.
Right. So we give people the video of themselves
Right.
and hopefully some of the Q&A. And what did we rate people 1 to 10 to
Yes.
give them, what did we rate you on the first rehearsal?
It was between a 6 and a 7.
Wow, which is extraordinary because what is the average on the first rehearsal?
4.
Yeah. So now you come back, so that was 2 weeks out from TechCrunch.
That's right.
Then you come back a week before.
That's right.
So you had to fly all the way out to the valley
Yeah,
for half an hour with us.
that's right.
And then you flew back later that day or the next day.
I took the red eye that day.
Right. So this is how much this guy cares about his company.
Yeah.
You basically fly out for a day trip,
Oh yeah,
more hours on the plane than actually on the ground.
that's the way it was.
And that's how we do on This Week in Startups. I mean, that's really like hardcore. When you do that and going to Europe, that's when you're really hardcore.
Yeah.
We went to Copenhagen for 48 hours, which was a great trip. It was one of the fun trips.
One of the best, yeah.
But crazy, and that's really good hardcore stuff. So you have to go all the way back.
Yeah.
So now you're spending $400 on a ticket on
It was 200. It was
on
great.
Virgin America.
Yeah.
You got the Wi-Fi for $15.
I actually only had one leg with Wi-Fi because I was doing the best price. So it's.
All right. Well, this is. I mean, somebody please contact Virgin America and get the sponsorship for the show set up. I mean, plug them everything. I only fly Virgin America now because of the Wi-Fi.
American has Wi-Fi now, and so does Delta.
Oh, American has Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get them to sponsor. Maybe the window's closing on Virgin. Maybe it's going to be American or Delta. I'm just saying. It could, I'm trying to get some free tickets here for Tyler. Tyler likes to make a lot of trips. So then you come back for rehearsal number 2.
That's right.
A week before, a couple days before TechCrunch.
Yeah.
5 days.
Yeah.
Did you stay out?
We stayed out the whole week
You
at
stayed
that
out for
point.
the whole week. So you fly out the second time.
Right.
You do the same exact thing. How long did you have to wait this time?
Well, this time we got to see 2 people go before us.
Right. Because in the second rehearsals,
That's right.
we allow 2 or 3 of the companies to be in there because they're not going to leak it, and we let you see what other people are doing.
Yeah.
So what other 2 companies did you see?
We saw Cocodot and the French social network.
Stripe.
Stripe.
Right.
Stayed in touch with those guys. They were good. And
Oh, yeah.
Cocodot too.
Yeah. And so when you watch them do their presentation, now what are you thinking?
My nerves were settled a little bit because I thought that they get good presentations, but just to see them go before me, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to rock this thing.
Yeah.
We came out to win. I mean, we really wanted to win TechCrunch.
Sure.
So we were going for a 10. And, they're doing a lot of rehearsals, a lot of in front of the mirror, and then we went up and did it. And the second rehearsal was great because it really got us ready for the stage.
Yeah.
And then we got some more feedback. We actually made some changes between the second rehearsal and then the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely did. What did you wind up getting? What did we score you on the second one?
We got an 8.5.
Oh, which is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the average on the second one is probably a 7. So you were like a full rehearsal ahead.
Yeah.
Then you did it on stage. I think you rocked it. You did
Thanks.
10 out of 10 on stage.
That's great.
And so what was it like that day being on stage and everything?
It was probably the most nervous I've actually ever been.
Right.
I was listening to my iPod. I was trying to psych myself up and then down. It was just like a total roller coaster ride, which is what this whole startup experience has been. And getting up on the stage, the lights were really bright. I was trying to make eye contact with people in the audience, and I was just really glad that I memorized it because it was just going from word to word to word. There was no worry about forgetting what I was going to say. And that once I got rolling, it felt great.
Yeah. And you did a great job. I was sitting there right in the first row going, wow, he's nailing it. I'm so happy for him.
Thank you.
Now, you didn't win.
No.
But you did excellent.
Great.
Pretty amazing competition you were up against there.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And the networking we did, I mean, I just saw Yext closed a monster round.
$25 million, Yext. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, and they're a New York-based company. I met their president.
Sure,
we stayed
nice
in
guy.
touch. It's such a great event for networking for the entrepreneurs that are all participating.
And what about meeting angel investors and venture capitalists?
Huge. It was ridiculous.
So how many do you think you've met from this process?
I would say close to 20.
20?
Yeah.
I was going to guess 10, 20.
I mean, once you're in that door, I just going to keep kicking it open. So it's been nonstop. This is my 3rd time out since TechCrunch.
Now, is this your first startup company?
I'm coming from more of a brick and mortar entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So it's my first pure technology play. In college, I was part of a .com.
Yeah.
But it wasn't mine. I didn't found it. So
this is your first time at the CEO spot.
Yeah.
And so what now? You're going to raise money?
Yeah, we're fundraising right now.
Right. And so what kind of round do you think you're doing? Angel round, for a full venture round? What are you attempting to do?
There are a lot of options. So we have the ability to kind of pick the best partner that we're going to go with at this point.
Really?
Which is really exciting.
Does that mean you have term sheets?
Not yet.
Not yet, but you're talking to everybody. Is it not?
We've gone beyond the initial meetings on all those scales.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow. So maybe you close before the end of the year, and then you start ramping up.
Oh yeah, no, we're trying to close quickly. I mean, I think that's a very important thing for us because we want to keep this momentum going. Yeah. Absolutely.
When you're doing fundraising, there has to be a sense of urgency where it's like this is closing, because the VCs will dilly-dally it, or the angel investors. You have to really get so you have a lawyer, you get your paperwork
Great
going.
lawyer.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, he's been guiding us.
Awesome. Well, let's bring Lon in here for the news, and we'll go through some news. We'll get your opinion on the news.
Great.
So now you just have 3 or 4 employees?
Yeah, we have 3 guys, and we have 2 new ones who are joining the team that are just really excited about the concept, so it's great for us. And they're willing to work for free.
So if you guys have any questions, just use the #twist hashtag. Somebody just did a funny thing that I... Jason just said he would give up everything he owns for 5 minutes with Osama bin Laden. That's pretty funny.
Those 3 words evoke a bad taste in the mouth of both job seekers and employers.
You're playing the LocalBacon presentation. Good. That's okay. All right. Here's Lon. I love that. Very serious. Yes. Get in here, Lon. Keep the news music going because Lon's still
I like that
trying to get himself.
Very nice.
Jason County.
Thank you.
Awesome. And there he is, Lon Harris with the news. And he brought his glass of water here. He's got a mug of water.
Yes, right.
Let me fill that water up.
It's usually beer. But
I like how there's a pitcher on the table. It's pretty sweet. Put that over here. Get that up. Oh, here, Lon. Let me fill your glass. Fill Lon's glass. So, Lon, LocalBacon.
Yes, LocalBacon.
You came. The whole Mahalo team came to TechCrunch 50 this year.
I was there live.
How was the whole team going up there? How was that for the team and Unity and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, it was great. We had a really good time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I've covered this for years for Mahalo sitting here. So it was kind of a thrill to get to go and be there in person, and yeah, we had a lot of fun.
And drink, eat burgers.
And drink, yeah. Well, we got to go to the sort of VIP party on Saturday night where they had the bacon wrapped scallops, which is the greatest.
Yeah, it's a
food
tradition
item ever created.
Yeah.
Is that a tradition, bacon wrapped scallops?
It is now.
Yeah.
So is this the Keiretsu? Is it Keiretsu Capital? Is that the guys?
Let's call it Keiretsu Forum, I think.
K-E-I-R-E.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
This is it?
That's it, yeah.
So where's the forum?
Not
here it is. I can't believe this. Keiretsu Forum. I wonder where they charge for this. It's incredible. Did you hear this?
I was watching
out there. If it's true, can you imagine that they charge people to pitch?
I can imagine it. I mean, I could theoretically see somebody trying something like that.
Keiretsu Forum is the world's largest annual meetup.
It does seem a little underhanded.
Apply to %. I'm going to destroy this. I want to have up and running the Twist forum. We will go head to head with this, and we'll make it free.
I was going to say charge half as much.
That's right. Why should the entrepreneur?
VC is doing that already. They're all free.
They're all free.
Yeah. How does I'm just data screening, due diligence, blah blah blah, and it's like they hide this like 12 levels deep. I'm 3 clicks in and I can't find. Oh, and I got to load a Word document.
There's a lot of entertainment industry stuff like this. Like we'll read your script and it's a script contest, but you got to give us like $2,000 to enter.
Oh yeah.
They try that same scam with like wannabe actors and screenwriters.
Keiretsu Forum. Oof. If it's true, I don't know that it's true. I'm not saying it's true. You say it's true.
I don't know about 3,000, but I know it's a very expensive investment.
Really?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to get me the information on this. I want every piece of information on Keiretsu Capital brought to me now. What was that thing that he said in Superman 2? Bring me the son of Jor-El.
Yeah, it's what's his name? General Zod.
General Zod.
Yeah. Terrence Stamp as General Zod.
He was awesome.
Neil before Zod.
Neil before Zod.
That's that guy, yeah. Terrence Stamp, great actor.
Is he on Entourage?
Is he on Entourage?
Oh, no, that's the famous actor from Clockwork Orange.
Oh, that's Malcolm McDowell.
It's Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, different.
He's awesome on Entourage.
Malcolm McDowell, another just legendary. Legendary.
So what did you think of LocalBacon? We were talking about before. You didn't like the idea.
I saw him tweeting about it.
Busted, really?
Oh, yeah.
I knew that.
He was a hater.
Here we go. We got a hater.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you what. There were a few companies at TechCrunch. It seemed like there was a trend going on that it was a little weird to me, where it was sort of thinking about your user base, less like people, more like kind of cogs in a machine or like dollar signs, trying to sort of quantify them and think about that. I was actually talking about this with Tyler at the event. This LocalBacon, not the worst sort of offender of that group. I would say
Who was the worst offender?
Healthy Wage was the one that just made me just infuriated.
Really?
With this whole idea of, instead of thinking of your employees as sort of individual people who are going to have their own unique sort of health issues and they're going to have their sort of unique lifestyles, it's this like, well, if you are this way, you are unhealthy, and we want to make you better. And it's just like, that is just so creepy to me. That just all, and so LocalBacon, not analogous to that, but it did have that sort of, I just don't understand how the incentive works of the money. It just doesn't seem like the people who have more money to apply to jobs, are they necessarily the people who are more qualified or going to have better resumes?
If you don't have $1 to spend, then you're probably not ever going to get a job.
Well, that's true. I mean, if you're talking like, if I go in one job a day, anybody can afford $1. Or it's like, if I have a strategy, I want to apply to 10, 15, 20 jobs.
You apply to the best jobs that you want to get on LocalBacon. So if you can afford to spend $5, then, you know, maybe don't have that Happy Meal at McDonald's. You know, like literally take that $5, invest it in getting your career forward. So I really against charging anything more that would limit people who don't have the resources to apply.
There's an interesting point, which is you did market research ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
And you found out, on average, people are willing to pay $9.
No, yeah, over $5. The average was actually over $5 to apply to one job. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember your presentation where you interviewed 2,000 people.
2,000 people on Craigslist.
People were willing to pay $9.
Yes, and they were applying to entry-level jobs, and they said they'd be willing to pay over $9.
So essentially,
which I would believe. I mean, I don't have any doubt.
So you
that's
basically
true.
made it the lowest possible benchmark. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, how much lower than $1 could you go? If it was like 25 cents, would you object?
It's the quantifying resumes in terms of money, because the resumes that I get that are
right,
crummy.
So it's some sort of philosophical thing.
Well, yes, it's a little more ideological than practical as a criticism. But like, I don't know. I feel like I get a lot of resumes because I do hiring for editorial at Mahalo, and I get a lot of crummy resumes. I get some good ones. I get a lot of crummy ones. So that's the problem that LocalBacon is sort of confronting.
Yeah.
But I feel like the problem with those people isn't that there's just no barrier to apply. It's that they don't know how to write a cover letter and a resume, or they're underqualified.
Right.
And I feel like
those people wouldn't pay the $1, though.
Wouldn't they? I mean, I feel like they would. I feel like whether you pay $1 is more about.
Do you see underqualified people paying the $1?
Well, we're actually seeing a very interesting split. They're taking half their credits and doing aspirational applies, meaning that they're applying to jobs that they might not be qualified for, and then they're going for the ones that they're like the safety net. So what we're trying to do is to guide them. We like this whole aspirational play. I think the Ladders did a phenomenal job taking people making $80,000 and inspiring them to try and make $100,000. So we're doing the same thing at LocalBacon, but we also want to make sure they get hired. So we're giving them those suggestions, saying, hey, you know, great for reaching for the stars for this job, but maybe as a backup, apply to this one that matches your experience a little bit more.
Right.
So we're really trying to get them hired. You know, other than getting their dollars, we really want to get them a job. I mean, that's our goal.
Right. Which is, I mean, a lot better than a system like Monster, where you're just kind of thrown into this sort of gauntlet.
And these people can all apply for the job at somewhere else. They can send the resume to the person.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if they don't want it, see, what I think you should do is, because Lon's socialist, borderline communist approach to life is just kidding.
No, it's
you consider yourself a socialist?
No, I'm kidding.
You voted for Obama.
I did. I know. he's a Nazi. Okay, totally different. Like, he's a Nazi.
So, what if on the thing it said, apply through LocalBacon, and under the job said, apply for free.
Yeah.
Apply for LocalBacon for $1, get X, Y, and Z, and then under it said, or apply for free at the Craigslist link or their direct link.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that. We want to do it.
I think that
I think that
would
shows so much strength.
Criticism I'm offering.
It totally shuts your criticism down.
Well,
hold on a second. Tyler has an insight.
There's also here, go roll it.
Insight from Tyler.
Booyakasha.
Yeah, there's also the issue that really what you're trying to do with that $1 is stop the idiots from auto spamming and doing all that.
That's half of it.
That's half of it, and you could have them. If somebody on one of the panels made the point that, well, if the idea is to stop the idiots, is instead of doing it, charging them $1 to do that, you could have them fill out something that proves their sincere interest.
Hey, that was Tony. It's Apples.
Yeah. Which is very interesting as well, and and you had a great response to that as well, which is, well, for different companies with different philosophies, different models will work better. So.
Yeah, and we're actually building that in right now. They can have additional questions. So if an employer is requiring to know certain things about the job seekers, they can do that right through the application process in LocalBacon. We can link to skills tests, we can do essays, whatever the employer wants, we can do.
Awesome. All right, so let's do some news.
All right, the first news story I got here, Google Wave. September 30th, Google began its slow rollout of Google Wave, collaborative web tool that brings together elements of chat, email, it's file sharing, it's a lot of different sort of collaborative things together. And the invites have become almost something of sort of an online currency, with people on Twitter sort of try to get invites from one another and trying to make deals for invites. Some negativity towards it already. Robert Scoble's called it overhyped, says it's a productivity killer. TechCrunch says people are going to think it's confusing, cluttered. Have you gotten to check it out yet? What do you think?
I haven't played with it. I've watched some of the demo. Whenever you try to do one service to unite them all, you generally don't do any of the services justice. So, as an example of that, when you try to mix instant messaging and email, they operate differently. And so the instant messaging inside of Gmail is okay, but I would rather just talk to you on Skype.
Right.
Because I can click and make it a voice thing, it just doesn't work as well. And so if you take 8 different disparate services, a feed reader, this, and you put it all together, it means each one's going to be 60, 70, 80% of what it would be if it was standalone. There's a reason why these things are standalone. So I just, one application to unite them all, it just doesn't resonate with, I think, the history of applications, which is give 100% of the navigation and UI to one task. So there were people who were trying to combine word processors and Excel into one product. In the Microsoft Office heyday, they were trying to, make databases and Excel one product. It was all these people trying to, blend these services. And when people are in the spreadsheet mode, they're not in the word processing mode. It's a cognitive thing. When I'm in email, I'm not in newsreader mode.
Right.
I don't like those two things being connected.
That's actually one of the major criticisms that came up, is that unlike email, where you're used to new information goes right to the top of your list, in Wave you have to kind of follow threads to figure out when stuff is new, which does seem like it'd be very sort of confusing to try to find the conversations
Applaud them for trying, Joe. Any thoughts?
I actually been using Wave for a couple of days, and it's just too buggy for me. I don't know. I don't really see a use for it for me yet. But
there you go.
Very ambitious.
What's the use case? Is it, that's what we were just saying with some of the people pitching. Like, what is the use case? What can't I do in any other application that I can do in Wave?
Right. That's what I'm trying to find.
What's the one thing? What is it best at? I don't think that anybody has an answer for that. I think whenever you say what is this tool used for and what is it best at, and the answer is it has this feature that this doesn't have, and it has the feature that this has, and people start going into the features, they haven't answered the question.
Yeah.
Therefore, you lose. It's not going to work.
I'm going completely contrarian here.
Uh-oh, look out.
Completely I've been on it for 2 days now. I still have 6 invites left if anyone...
I got one, but it hasn't actually invited me, so...
I've invited 2, and they haven't got them yet either.
Yeah.
But, so email's awesome. No one's really complaining about email now that Gmail's out or whatever, right?
Yep.
But it was still based on a metaphor of having a mailbox and sending letters and receiving letters and sending in that. And it was based on that metaphor because at the time, that's how people communicated, right? We started with handwritten quill pens, and then we went to mailboxes, and now we're at email, which is built on that prior metaphor. But in fact, people communicate the way that we do right now, and the way that you three just communicated. If you were to remove the hindrances of, tying it to a metaphor of an inbox and all of that, Wave is built with that kind of premise. Like, the way that I'm communicating, you're going to cut me off, and then he's going to respond to something I said 2 minutes ago, which is what Lon was saying.
Also known as a chat room?
It's very chat roomy, but chat room's linear. This is non-linear. And most new editing systems are non-linear in audio editing, video editing, photo editing are non-linear as well. So it's like a non-linear conversation, and it's very interesting. Whether or not people will have the mind to want to make that jump, that's the real issue.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what people were saying. It's not that it's not interesting, but how do you keep this all straight and get anything else done with this massive sort of
But it is very analogous to actual real room conversations. And the way that you invite people into them, it's very organic and not tied to conventional notions of how we've been doing it.
Interestingly, Tyler's only following 59 people on Twitter.
Yes, I'm a Twitter snob.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
59.
59. I read every single tweet that they put out, by the way.
Steep decline.
Yeah, I read every single tweet of all 59 people I follow, and you better have some very interesting tweets, and if you spit out a couple, I don't like, I stop following you.
Wow. There you go, people. Try to get on the list.
Miley Cyrus adds a lot of value. So
I don't know how anyone follows more than 100. It drives me batty that people are following, 500.
And you're a selective tweeter. You don't unnecessarily tweet.
Yeah.
Next story.
Yext. TechCrunch 50 company Yext, CEO Howard Lerman was definitely one of the more excitable presenters, as those of us.
Oh, you didn't see the half of it.
Yeah, you don't know the half of it.
Has closed a $25 million B round led by institutional venture partners. Company aims to recreate the yellow pages for the web, and it's offering its own local advertising service called Yext Calls. What do you think? First of all, what was it about Yext that appealed to you and Mike Arrington when you were first picking companies?
Yeah.
And then what do you think other entrepreneurs could learn from the overnight success, really, of Yext?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Yext had an existing business, which was web-based calls with $20 million in revenue. Right. And TechCrunch 50 is supposed to be for new companies. They had a completely new product, which was this call manager that went through their system. We had never seen anything like it. It was transcribing calls and then pulling the keywords out. So if you called and said, I'm calling about my Honda Accord, the brakes are making noise, I need service, and it's under warranty, and I'm in Santa Monica, California, it would be like Santa Monica brake pads, whatever. So they don't have to pay for the waste and everything like that. And the guy really just had like an excellent, perfect demo working. Like there was a level of refinement and execution that was extremely high. And local is a space that everybody's trying to solve, and it just looked like this might be the person to solve it. So we had major debates, should they be in or not, because is it new enough or not? And we try to make everything a new company, a new brand that nobody's ever heard of, but Yext had been doing this web-based stuff, but it was really a new spin on the company. So anyway, we took a flyer and said yes. And we've had this happen 3 or 4 times in the history of the thing where we take somebody who maybe exists a little bit. We've gotten some flack. You can see in the comments about Yext fundraising. People are like, oh, it already existed. You gave one of the spots to things. So there was a point in time when I didn't want Yext in, because I said it's not new enough.
Yeah.
And we had another company like that was, I won't say their name, but another company that was sort of launched, but was launching new stuff. Anyway, all that being said, water under the bridge, great product, great entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He was out of his mind in the rehearsals. Out of his mind.
Out of it, yeah. But he admittedly so.
Admittedly so. Like, I'm a maniac. And
he said, I'm crazy, and this is how I am, and my employees know I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, awesome.
And I'm going to kill this company, I'm going to kill that company, it's going to be, we want to change the world. He just had that big vision. And you know what? That's what big investors respond to, is people who want to change the world, because the crazy people are the ones who sometimes do. Mazel.
Yeah. In terms of a huge opportunity, and the way that they're going about it, assuming they get up far enough in front and some big guy doesn't come along and clobber, like I would be betting on that one. That's pretty awesome.
He did a great job in the video, and
and then on stage he was actually relatively calm during his stage presentation.
He must have been pretty wild when you guys saw, because he was. The audience was really reacting to how sort of big a presence he was.
Oh, it's night and day. I watched his stage presentation, and I'm like, is that the same guy? He's so calm compared to how he was in the...
No, in the thing, he was going crazy. I mean, he looked like he was on crystal meth or something. Like, he was on crack. Like, he walked out of the room and said, this guy on drugs? Like, he is out of his mind. He was, like, pacing, and we're going to take this, and
he, like, threw his hat, like, at the...
Gotta get this thing going here, and we're going to... It was just like, whoa. I was like, this could be a train wreck or brilliant. And that's, there is a certain contingent of the event that are either going to go off the rails and hit right into a brick wall, flip the train, it's a disaster, or they're just going to poof like a bullet train. He was the bullet train.
I'll tell you what, the guy with the computer who had the
IMO
brick and mortar store, no, the call-in earlier today, who
Billy
out in Stockton, south of Sacramento.
Yeah.
He could use that Yext platform for all those inbound calls. Like, I think it would be awesome for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He manages inbound calls too. So I would say, like, I am shocked and surprised, and I'm like blown away that he raised $25 million. But after Mint and PowerSet both getting bought for $170 million, I just sort of now have come to expect that if you're at that conference, you're going to do really well. If to get selected, it's a pretty hard filter. It's hard to get in. 700 people, 1,200 people, 800 people, those are like the number of applicants each year. Reducing down to 50 means, if you have Mike and I and Heather and the TechCrunch editors and Tyler looking at the companies, we know what's going to work, and so we have a good eye for talent. And I'm really proud of the fact that we're picking people really well. I mean, Yammer, people didn't like Mint winning the first year. They didn't like Yammer winning the second year, and this year they're not going to like LocalBacon. All three of those companies crushing it.
Red
you know?
Beacon.
Red Beacon
Red Beacon.
was the winner.
LocalBacon.
You said
Oh,
LocalBacon.
Red Beacon. Sorry, Freudian slip. LocalBacon.
You should have done that at the conference.
Absolutely.
And the award goes to.
You've got a great idea.
Yeah.
There is a challenge of if it's going to work or not.
Oh, yeah.
With some of the other businesses, it's like, well, clearly, you know, Clicker or, you know, Red Beacon are going to work. I mean, there's less risk in them.
Mm-hmm.
AnyClip, as a matter of fact, is one of those. AnyClip was the crowd favorite.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason it didn't win was because I don't think they even know if they're going to pull this off. If they had a thing that said, if they had a contract and they put on, like the other guy did with the contract from Udors.
Yeah.
Like Udors. If they came and said, look, I have 5 of the studios that said they're willing to do it if we keep the clips under 3 minutes and if we link to their thing, they would have won.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down.
This is my favorite presentation. I thought that was fantastic.
They did a good job.
Yeah, just one of those ideas that just grabs you immediately. Like, oh, if that worked, it would be amazing.
Right. If.
Yeah.
Next
story.
Oh, do you have any thoughts on Yext?
I love them. I think it's a great business. So I'm rooting for them.
I had a video. I'm not sure if we're queued up with this video.
Oh, okay.
So
Are we queued up with the video, guys?
Guys, do we have the double twist video ready to go? I sent that in the email, but I'm not sure.
I don't even know what a double twist is.
Okay, so they didn't get it. Double Twist was the company that did the video, sort of taking it out of Apple.
Oh yeah, go find that.
Redid the Apple in 1984.
You can find that. It's a 1984.
If you look up Double Twist ad, you guys should find it on YouTube pretty quickly. Anyway, they offer software which allows iTunes to interact with a variety of non-Apple MP3 players and devices, and they released a commercial that's sort of a parody of the '84 Macintosh Super Bowl ad that everybody sort of remembers, where it's the big brother and then the woman throws the torch into the screen and it explodes. So this time the big brother character looks like Steve Jobs. The followers all are wearing sort of their iPod earbuds. Pretty sort of clever reversal of it, implying that, now Apple is everything that they once opposed. And I know that's a case you've also made.
I'm not certain, but I think I said in one of my email newsletters that Steve Jobs is the guy on the...
You actually did name check this '84 ad.
But I said in it, he's the person on the screen, and the woman with the hammer is open source, coming for him.
Right.
That's exactly what just happened.
That is the content of this ad. If we
well, I have it here on my computer. I'm trying to download it, but I think we have a ISDN line here at Mahalo that's only capable of. We have about 30 people on a 64 kilobit. It's 128. We upgraded to 128 kilobits.
You got 264s.
264. Okay, we're good. But anyway,
there you go.
It's a pretty good. It's a pretty good rendition of it. And
it's a pretty good recreation. And
and they sued them, or they're pissed off.
I don't think there's any lawsuits that have actually been filed. I know Apple's sort of not
classic parody.
Not pleased with it. I don't see how you could possibly make a case for
however, parody is protected, but. I think there is a reasonable case here that people would not know, people would assume that's Apple. When I watched it, until the end, you don't know, and so using copyrighted stuff in marketing, parody is not.
It would just be the earbuds then, right? That's the only sort of Apple imagery that appears in it.
No, but Apple owns that. Apple owns that original idea.
Yeah.
Of doing doesn't George Orwell own the original idea?
Well, no. The format of that commercial is their intellectual property. So if you copy it. If I did a copy of that for Mahalo, they could have they would say we were infringing upon their trademark, their copyrighted content.
Like fair use to me, I think.
It's one of those borderline cases. It would be fair use if they did it and they were not a for-profit company or it was just a bunch of students.
Right.
But when you use it in a commercial sense to promote yourself, it would be like if I did a Think Different campaign,
Right.
And it's like you start to get into trouble.
Was that what you would do if you were Apple? You would sue them?
No, but they probably will. I mean, they like to sue everybody now, right? I mean, is that their modus operandi? I think Apple is now feeling the heat. Mm-hmm. I mean, after my email, I'm not supposed to say this, but I actually got contacted by somebody, let's just say, related to government agencies, who wants me to talk to government people about Apple in Washington, D.C.
Wow, like an antitrust
He's not saying anything about it.
But I mean, I'm like, really? I don't really need to be this involved, Like I'm not going to Washington. Period. I went to Washington.
Microsoft's got big pockets. Don't rule it out. I mean, they will pay for good lobbyists.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a lobbyist
for Microsoft.
Anyway, I like the idea of the software. in the software, I downloaded it. Almost worked. It doesn't work with Zune yet.
Right. Yeah. It's on their list of it's going to work for Zune HD.
I'm so excited about it working on Zune because I don't want to move over to Windows. I don't want to have to run it in parallels, but I want to have my iTunes available on the things, and this could. I think they're going to try to block it. So
they probably will. Yeah.
The good news is, I think what these guys are doing is just reading your files and using the metaphor of the iTunes format.
Right.
So
I'm not exactly sure how it works, but that sounds right.
This is the DVD John guy, who I think was one of the guys who cracked DVD code.
Yes, right. Norwegian hacker DVD John is now the sort of founder. I think the founder and CTO of this new company.
And they charge for the software, I guess.
Yeah,
$50 or something.
Something. Yeah.
I'm going to order it. Absolutely. I mean, if there was, I'm going to order it. I wish that there was some software that I could just pay that would make my iPod and iPhone not jailbroken, but just open. I would pay for that, but see, Apple just comes and
then you're
they stop it.
Illegal.
You know, like it's I could understand them not, promoting it or whatever, but to go and stop it, it's like just come on, lighten up. You know, it's just like it's so over the top. Should we talk about the homework? Let's talk about homework.
Oh, okay.
Really quick. There we go. Homework. The Accidental Billionaires, the founding of Facebook. Have you read this or listened to the audiobook?
I haven't read it yet.
Great audiobook. You can get at Audible, and everybody knows, go to audiblepodcast.com.
Audiblepodcast.com/twist.
And you'll get a free month or something to this effect. I have a subscription. You have a subscription. Tyler has a subscription. We're all listening to the book. You actually finished it first.
I did.
We're almost finished.
Last week.
What did you think of the book?
Very interesting story. It's very compelling. I had a few issues with his writing style, which is he tends to sort of repeat himself. Ben Mesrick, the author.
Yeah.
He'll tell you not just once, but 8 times that Mark Zuckerberg was a nerd and a hacker, and these guys were jocks, and Mark Zuckerberg is a genius. And even I think if you took that line out, there's probably 16 times during the reading of this book where the guy who's reading it has to go, Mark Zuckerberg was a genius. And it's like, it's a little... Yeah. I get it the first time, and you don't have to tell me about how, sort of staid all of these Harvard groups are or whatever. But, having said that, my sort of little issues with the way it's written, it's actually very sort of interesting to hear a lot of the backstory.
Sure. And
a lot of the sort of the Connect You situation is really sort of infamous. Right. But a lot of these other little sort of betrayals and controversies are not... I hadn't really heard about, especially... Eduardo Saverin, who's sort of the perspective of the book, the guy who gave him the money back at Harvard, who then he sort of cut out of the company when Sean Parker came in.
And then he winds up, now he's back in, right? They've made him a founder, they settled with him.
Yeah, in 2008 there was a settlement, but oddly before the settlement came through, they sort of just put him back in the company history.
Yeah.
Like for years and years he hadn't been considered an official part of the Facebook company history at all. And then they just sort of put him back on there, and then a few months later, he got this sort of undisclosed
What's
settlement.
the lesson for startups?
I think there's a lot there. I think one of them is that...
What's your big takeaway?
Yeah, I think one of them is that it comes back to again and again is that the guys who sort of stuck with it and made Facebook work were the guys who lived, ate, breathed, slept Facebook. That it's that singular vision of Zuckerberg literally locked himself in a Palo Alto apartment for 24 hours a day and just wrote code and focused exclusively on it. And Saverin sort of went off and he had this internship and he wanted to finish Harvard and he had all these other sort of priorities. And that was how he sort of became so disconnected from the company that he ended up not being a part of it at all. And it comes back to that again and again, that the people who are the most successful are the people who are just completely single-minded, completely focused on the company and what they were doing. And the other thing that really amazed me, and when I was listening to it, was how far in advance they had planned out this stuff. I mean, they're talking about 2003, 2004, and Zuckerberg's having conversations with people about, we're going to beat Flickr, we're going to do the photo sharing thing, and we're going to have your wall, and it's going to be a news feed. I mean, basically, almost exactly what Facebook is today, which feels to me totally different than even when I first joined it. And he had this roadmap in his head, so it's really like, plan out, you got to have a roadmap that's way further in the future than I would have expected.
Yeah, you have a big vision, you got an endless sort of ocean. Also very important for entrepreneurs to remember is when you're starting your company, you have to document it and do it right, cleanly, paperwork, lawyers. Don't put that stuff off. Do it in advance because this has gotten very, very expensive. And just a little note, Adeo, my friend Adeo, is launching the Founders Institute in San Diego.
Yes.
So the Founders Institute, which I spoke at, is a very cool group of people where people who want to become entrepreneurs go and learn. Have you heard of that, the Founders Institute?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's done pretty well. I was actually on the opening night of the first thing I spoke, and a lot of other good people have spoken there. And so they're accepting applications for their next class. The next class will be in San Diego, Orange County, and San Diego. So if you want information on that, go to thefoundersinstitute.com or Google Founders Institute. So that's a plug. I got handed a plug.
You did? Yeah.
No, now it's happening. People are like
that would happen on Stern.
Yeah.
I'm doing the plugs. I'm doing the plugs now. Tyler will be at Chuckles Comedy Club, 2 shows, 8 and 10, with Artie Lang opening up for him.
And Yucko the Clown.
And Yucko the Clown. Next news story.
Next news story. I Am T-Pain. The hottest iPhone app of the moment lets users, you can record your voice and then auto-tune it. It has been downloaded 300,000 times to date, and it has recorded 4.1 million vocal performances. To celebrate, they're actually...
Is that $1 each?
That's they used to sell it at $3 each, $2.99 for a limited time. You can get it for 99 cents now, but that's only for a few weeks, and then they're going to go back up to $3. So yeah, it's almost $1 million from 300,000 downloads, which
There's
is
a lot of apps
amazing.
that made $1 million.
But this is so fast. I mean, this is really sort of
2 weeks,
very quickly. So my question would be Smule, S-M-U-L-E. That's the company that made the app.
Yeah.
What do they do to turn this into sort of a real business now? Because this is obviously sort of a fun gimmick.
Smule is the same people who made the flute.
Right.
If you remember, where you blow into the thing.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is they make things that are purple cows, that are unique, that are just very viral. So with this thing with the flute, when we were in Japan, everybody's talking about it, everybody's trying it, and it's like, oh wow, that's a unique thing. You blow into it. You're not going to use it. So I was like, I'll buy that. Sure, I bought it for whatever, $1 or $2. I showed it to 10 people. It was like, and then it showed it to the 11th person. They're like, yeah, I've seen it. Smule, yeah, I get it. So I think that there's a lot of this sort of like they're like Star Wars toys or something, like, oh, you have the Tauntaun, you can put Luke in, great, oh my god, it's the most amazing thing ever, then everybody's got it, and you're like, oh, well, what about the Rancor Beast, do you have the Rancor Beast? It's like, it just, everybody moves on to the next toy, to the next toy, to the next toy, it's yesterday's news, so, it's not a real business.
That's a great idea, digital Happy Meals.
Digital? Happy Meals.
Like an iPhone Happy Meal, you got to collect them, and you charge $1 for each one. And
yeah, it's like a wheelchair in Disney.
Just like a wheelchair.
I made my girlfriend download.
That was his insight before. It's like a wheelchair in Disney.
Wheelchair in Disney.
So can somebody get the domain name like a wheelchair
at Disneyland?
At Disneyland.
Yeah, you go right to the front of the line.
Yeah, like a wheelchair at Disneyland.com, and just make that a fan site to Tyler. And you just whoever does that is going to get something from Twist. Hey, we never did the contest. Oh, do we pick a winner for that? Tyler, pick a winner for the review contest.
We're gonna give last
like 4 shows ago. We never did it.
Yeah.
The most in-depth. Somebody did a crazy in-depth review that
there were 2 of them that were.
Lon's good at this. Lon, you do this because you're good at this. I went through them. Pick your top 3, show it to me and Tyler, and then we'll tell you which one we think. And we'll just let's do that in between shows because people have been asking about this.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going a little crazy.
We can get that going.
Okay.
One more.
We've only done 1 hour and 56 minutes of show.
Yeah, one more. There's a lot of good ones left. Let's do AppBank. AppBank is a Facebook third-party application that lets users create their own third-party content and then market it to friends, and then they get a kickback for everybody who sort of installs it. All the ads that get clicked from their third-party application. So I can write my own quiz or come up with my own game, come up with some sort of fun thing to share with my friends, and then I can even get a little analytics where I can track how many clicks it's getting and how many ads being sold. So you think these sort of sponsored social media projects where you got to sell your friends on stuff, is that ever going to be like a real way to earn real money? And are these kind of crowdsourced apps ever going to be better than stuff a developer actually sort of designs?
I have 2 words for you. Amway. It's really 1 word.
Amway is 2 syllables, 1 word.
I have 2 syllables for you. Amway. Yes, it will work and be extremely annoying, and those people will have no friends left. Just like the people who sell Amway have no friends.
Well, there were some TechCrunch companies that had similar, like, market this to your friends and make money that way. Like Udorse, one that you mentioned, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Udorse is they get away with it because it's like, it's never going to be a lot of money. Like, if you put a photo up of somebody in an Armani sweater, it might get clicked on 10 times. And you do that 1,000 times, you might get 1 sale.
Yeah.
Based on the statistics. So you might get $5 or $3 a year, and you're going to give it to charity to Kiva anyway. So it's such a light incentive in that case. It's not. But this is like, I'm going to come up with a quiz, and I'm going to make all my friends take it, and then I'm going to get click-throughs at the bottom, and it's going to be, it's just like, oh, please, unfriend, unfollow. Yeah. I mean, it just, once you start doing that stuff, it's like, that's why Isaiah was always such a bad idea paper post. Mm-hmm. That's why Tyler wrote Calicanis Cast on the guy's forehead.
That was a well-spent $1,000.
That was pretty good, yeah. I made it back last night at the poker table. One of the better investments I've made. Yeah. It's just, people who do that, people who are drawn to these things are typically the desperate people. And that's in some ways sad. So it's either the smarmy people or the desperate people. People who really need money. And so they get to it, they don't take the long-term approach to content creation, they take the shortcuts, they're trying to spam their blogs, they're trying to get clicks, and that means they're making bad content. You want to go long when you're doing content. You want to build a brand, you want to go long. You want to invest in it and take your time building it. And those people will never compete with the good people. So if you're doing that with your social network, you're not going to compete with Scoble and his social network because he's providing actually good content for them, for those people who like that kind of insanity. So it's like the bottom feeders. No. There was another group called Buzz Agents that I hated. They did a whole story on them in the New York Times, and it was really, really reprehensible, this Buzz Agent thing. I think it's BZZ Agents or whatever. I wrote a blog post about them years ago. And what they would do is they would take a camera. They had like a Sony camera phone. And they would stop you on the street and be like, oh, I'm sorry, can you take a picture of me and my wife? And they'd hand you the phone. You take a picture and like, yeah, what do you think of the new Sony photo? And it was like, really? You just asked me to take a picture of me and my wife. I stopped. Right. It was like a gracious thing for me to do. And now you're going to ask me to join your Sony camera cult or whatever it was. It's like, that's called the reciprocation effect in psychology, in manipulation. It's exactly what the Mooney, are they called the Moonies? That's not a derogatory term, is it? Mooney?
No, that's, yeah. There is a more...
Reverend Sonia Moon, whatever they are. The guys who give you, girls who give you a flower in the airport. So what they're doing is they give you the flower, then they ask for a donation. It's a reciprocation effect. I do something for you, you do something for me. Right. And so then these Buzz Agents do like, I'm going to get a bunch of sausages, like they were doing this thing for a sausage company. And they would pay you to have a barbecue, put these sausages out, and then tell your friends about the sausage. I'm like, really?
It's interesting.
That's what I'm going to do at my picnic. My picnic brought to you by this. It's not a bad idea, actually. When I think about it.
There you go.
Full Tilt Poker sponsoring my poker. Maybe I get a sausage company
Johnsonville
sponsor
your
Fridays.
picnics.
No, listen, I'm all for sponsors and making a business, but I'm not going to have a sponsor of a barbecue on weekend. That's just annoying.
You can sell to your friends, but you can basically do it once, and then after
you have no friends.
Right.
If I invite you to a party and then I'm like, can I take a moment to tell you about who made the sausages today? I mean, it's even. I even find I got a little pissed off. I had a little thing. We had a caterer at our house put out the food, and they put at the end of the food like a stack of their
business cards.
Not just even business cards. It was like a little brochure, and I was just like, really. Really? No. I'm paying you to do this nice party, and without even asking. I just, if somebody asked me who it was, I would give them, certainly I'll give the reference, and, if your food is good, you'll get those references, but I just found it not cool. Am I being obsessive?
No, I think that's very fair. I've seen that.
You know what they should do is pass a fortune cookie, and inside the fortune cookie it says,
absolutely.
This fortune brought to you, this incredible meal brought to you by.
Yeah, no, on the plate it has the incredible. Yeah, so after you eat your ham sandwich, on the bottom of the plate it's got an advertisement. It's just, I'm all for marketing. People say I know a couple things about marketing, whatever. You have to know when you're over the line. When I goof and I'm like, hey, everybody retweet the sponsors, show the love for them. It's all in good fun. When you start doing it deceptively, or like, I'm trying to get something out. I'm not trying to get anything out of the people who are tweeting that. It's not nothing nefarious about it. But when you start sending stuff to people and wasting their time, it feels nefarious.
It has to be genuine and authentic, I think.
Right. So it lacks all authenticity.
Which is that magpie one that I really hated on Twitter, where it was like every 10th tweet they'll send out like a sponsored.
And they're such spammers. These magpie are spammers because I signed up for it just to see what it was like. Yeah. And then every week or two I was getting, your account is low, your account is low, your account is low. And I was just like, can you please stop sending me this thing? I don't want to use your service. And
there was a while where I was just unfollowing anybody who I saw on Magpie from. It just drove me crazy. It seems like people sort of give
I don't have that problem. I only follow about 59 people.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I haven't really seen this.
Diddy does not send out magpie tweets, so you're in luck.
Honestly, if somebody said to me, like, if you send a tweet, I'll give a donation to Bay Ridge Prep or something.
I don't like that either.
I might.
Just give the donation. What do you need me to do stuff for you for?
No, I understand, though, if you incentivize people to do stuff. Like, James bought the, we put an ad from This Week in Tech on eBay or whatever for people to auction off for charity water, and somebody was nice enough to buy it. And so, I mean, it can be done well. It can be done well. I mean, if people raffle off a car or something like that, it's not like they're doing it for the car, but it's nice if you do get it.
I just think Ashton should have just bought the mosquito nets. What do you need CNNs for?
He said if CNN...
He was like, if I get to $1 million before CNN, I'll buy like $500,000.
Oh, but then he changed it after that. He was like, I'll buy 100,000. If not, I'll buy 50,000. So he added that.
Buy as many as you can afford to. You're rich. They need them. Like, if you don't
your socialist things
if you don't follow me on Twitter, that kid's going to get malaria.
Look at the socialist of it. Really, this is the problem. I don't know if I can have you on my... Are you a capitalist? Do you like money?
For the record, before everybody, I am a capitalist. I've never been a socialist or a communist.
Did you see Capitalism, the new movie?
I haven't. I want to, but I haven't seen it yet.
Maybe we'll go see it tonight. You doing any good plans?
No, let's go.
Maybe we'll see it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, last news story. We've done 2 hours of show.
Oh, okay.
I think this file is going to be 1.7 gig. I mean, really? 1.7 gig show? Maybe. Right,
flew by.
Can we break the show into 2 parts because the video files are too large to download now? I think we should really make it 2
parts.
Like
the Gone with the Wind of podcasts.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm no Kevin Pollak. Kevin Pollak show, he's going 3 hours. It's out of his skull. And I told him, he's like, I got to do 2 shows a week. I gotta get these things banked. I gotta bank. I'm like, Kevin, it's a marathon, not a sprint. He's like, yeah, but I got all these guests. I got to do 2 a week. I'm like, Kevin, do 1 a week. Leave them wanting more. Yeah. But I don't want to tell him. He's very successful. I'm not going to. He's my partner on the business. I'm not trying to. I don't want to tell him how to do what he does. But I said you might want to consider doing 1 a week so you can spend more time with them and you're not tired or whatever. He's like, I don't get tired. And I was like, I know, but just the audience might get tired. It's a little bit of fatigue for the crew. I mean, the crew was getting fatigued. It was 3 hours of show they have to be on.
Yeah, it's a long.
Yeah, and he wants it perfect too. I mean, he's a perfectionist. I don't know if you saw Willow. Zing pow!
Well done.
Well done.
One more news story? More news story? Okay. We'll do 4. Forbes' richest Americans list came out this week. Number of tech industry figures made the list.
Let's not bring it up. I don't want to talk about it.
Could get upset at coming in number 2 again?
No, I'm not on that list. For some reason, they haven't valued Mahalo stock the same way they value the Facebook stock.
Zuckerberg is the youngest member of the list at 158. Also got, obviously...
Well, but he's 158, and they say he's worth 2 now?
$2 billion. $2 billion.
And they're basing that on him owning 20% of Facebook.
Right.
And Facebook will be worth $10 billion.
Yes.
Interesting.
That is how they arrived at that number.
That is... I don't know if I'm going to say that's a little silly. They have $500 million in top-line revenue, and they got 10 times that, it would be $5 billion. Yeah. And that would be a really healthy valuation. But they do have a growth thing, so if they're going to get to $2 or $3 billion in revenue, it is worth 10. So I guess that's worth 25, I guess. But so they're either greatly underestimating that, or they're probably overestimating it in terms of reality, and they're underestimating it in terms of potential.
Yeah.
So maybe the 10's a good number because they did hit 15, but they're selling at $6 billion now. So that's like the high and low. That's the range. Right. But he doesn't actually have that money. It's not a publicly traded stock.
He's not sitting on $2 billion.
So that, I mean, so the value of private. Yeah, so that's the thing is the value of private stock is very speculative. So by that measure, there's a lot of other people who could be on that list who'd have illiquid stock and valuable assets. I guess that's what they do with Bloomberg too, because Bloomberg is private, and they have to guess. They guess a lot on these lists.
Right, Bloomberg's in the top 10.
I would never want to be on this list. Honestly, if I got to that, I would not want to be on the list.
Can you get yourself taken off the Forbes?
No, that's the problem, and that's why if you're high profile, if you have a publicly traded company, you're on. There's a lot of private people like in China and Russia, these billionaires, oil, whatever, and they're not on the list, and they specifically do not want to be on the list because if you're on the list, now you're a target.
Right.
These lists are. I think these lists are. I'm a capitalist. I like the sort of inspirational part of the list and the aspirational part of the list. I do think it gets a little obsessive,
Yeah, I can see that. When it gets down to 400, too, I mean, you're going so.
It's just like, really, we have to go that. Yeah, exactly. Why don't they do like the top 10,000 richest people in America, and then you could look up, your neighbor or something.
Right.
It's just a little. Listen, I'm all for being a billionaire. I'm all for that's my goal. I want to buy the Knicks. So.
Well, so do you think, I mean, that was the interesting sort of question, I think, from all this is, it's clearly some sort of combination of all these things, but what do you think predominantly for the people who have made it onto that list? Is this a sort of luck? They just had this one brilliant sort of idea or
they've done stats on this. I think about a third or half of the list is actually inheritance. Because the Walmarts, there's like the Walmart people have how many? Like there's like 8 of them.
4 of them are in the top 20.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of that in there. So there's old money on there, and then there's a lot of technology, finance, and real estate. So if you look, tech, finance, real estate, that's how you get on that list. Or you inherit it. Yep. Trust me, my dad's not leaving me $1 billion. Maybe $1 billion in debt. My pops wasn't so good with the cash flow. Okay, so that's an awesome amount of news.
That is an awesome amount of news.
That's an awesome amount of news. Thank you, Lon, for helping out with the news.
My pleasure, as always.
Tyler, thank you for your wonderful insights.
Or lack thereof.
No, we have a rough day.
Yeah.
What's the matter?
No, I just got a lot on my plate. I had trouble being insightful today. I'll make it up next time.
Take a wheelchair to Disneyland.
That was good.
What more insights do you need?
Yeah.
Cheers.
By the way, the domain is available. I checked. Wheelchairs at Disneyland.
It's still available. You haven't bought it yet? It's still available?
At some point, somebody will clip every single insight from Tyler and put them back to back, and it will just really be funny with a techno remix behind it. Wheelchairs at Disney. Joe, thank you for being on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for launching TechCrunch 50. I'm really excited about the business. I'm really excited that you chose to launch there. It's great to see all the success that you're having with it. Remember the rules that we talk about on the program.
Yeah.
Never get high on your own supply.
Definitely not.
The press means nothing. All that matters is execution and your clients.
Yeah.
That's a piece of advice. Second piece of advice, starting very easy. Finishing very hard.
Yeah.
And for you, finishing is getting these great clients and getting this thing to scale. So while it's great that you've done all this stuff, this is just the beginning.
It's just scratching the surface.
Make sure your entire team understands the 2 cardinal rules of startups.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm really excited about this program, most of all because of the people updating us on their status and really helping the entrepreneurs. If you want to be on the program, it's very simple. You just email contact@thisweekinstartups.com. That goes to me, it goes to Alex, it goes to Tyler. I don't think it goes to Lon. Lon, if you want to be on the list, you can.
Yeah.
Just send in, listen, I got a problem, I need help, I need advice, I want to be on Jason Shark Tank, I want to be on Ask Jason. Put your stuff in there, and boom. Next week, we're going to be at that music conference.
Correct. Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara.
On stage.
Live on stage. Santa Barbara what? Something in Santa Barbara. We'll put it on the website.
It's like a music tech.
Music and tech.
Music and tech in Santa Barbara. We have a couple of free tickets to that, I think.
Yep.
So email contact at
This Week in Startups.
This Week in Startups. And this is funny. I guess we have, I'm going to let you finish. Oh, they're taking pictures of This Week in Startups. I just saw J-Mac was, but he's got the little icon on his...
The little Kanye.
He got a little Kanye on his thing.
Kanye's interrupting his Twitter.
I'm going to let you finish. Kanye needs therapy. And
you don't think it's all he knows he's going to get on TV?
Nah,
it's all an act?
No. When you lose your mom over elective surgery that you paid for, it's really tragic.
He used to interrupt award shows before that happened.
I know, but anybody who's walking around an award show with a bottle of Courvoisier, drinking it from the bottle,
Hennessy,
same difference. I don't care if it was Grey Goose or if it was Kahlua.
Just not Cristal.
Just not Veuve, because I would be guilty of that. Anybody who's walking around drinking from a bottle has a serious problem. Unless it's me with a bottle of Veuve. But this is a serious problem. It's a cry for help. Somebody who's his friend needs to give him a hug and say, we love you, Kanye. Slow your roll. You're high on your own supply, literally. And you need help. That's it.
He was right, though. The Beyonce video is a lot better than the Taylor Swift video.
Of course he's right.
But I think that's part of what bothered everybody so much about it, is that we all kind of deep down know that he's right, and it's just annoying the way he's choosing to express it.
It is annoying.
Well, she ended up winning the Video of the Year.
She won Video of the Year. This was just Taylor Swift beat her for like female pop vocal.
And had he had the calmness to maybe anticipate that, maybe they're setting her up to win the year one. Taylor's getting the girls.
You know what? The Courvoisier can sometimes mess with your judgment. That's why I stopped drinking Courvoisier from the bottle. We'll see you guys all next time on This Week in Startups. Bye-bye.
With this time, I go for mine. I got to shine. Now throw your hands up in the sky.